Supercar market is full of scammers. 2030, all new cars have got to be electric. Biggest scam I've seen. These dealers who don't know what they're doing.
But it's not different. It's the same car.
Yes, cars have gone up a disgusting amount. I guarantee somebody will earn $250,000 a year. Are they in business to make people happy, or are they in business to make money? Say, it's a car, I'll still sell it. Find it funny that they're going to lose $250,000 a year. And that's why I really don't like Porsche.
What do you think of the Jaguar rebrand?
Well, it. Like, absolutely destroyed it. Disgusting what they've done.
Would you say you're the most hated supercar dealer?
I'm not here to make friends. I'm here to do business. You either choose to play the game or you don't.
Carl, what's the biggest scam in the supercar market?
The biggest scam. So the supercar market is full of scammers. So it's going to be hard to pinpoint what the biggest scam, but I've heard of some really bad scams. Well, when I say scams, not so much a scheme, but, you know, I know there's stories out there where dealerships are using people's cars that are on sale or return, putting miles on them, clocking them, mileage manipulation to get rid of the miles. I've seen it firsthand.
Wow.
I've seen it firsthand with dealers. I've seen dealers proof. Actually, if I could let you into that, I have proof of a specific dealership who have
Well known?
crashed.
They well
Well
known?
known, yeah, you'd know them.
Yeah.
You'd definitely know them.
Okay.
They crashed a guy's car while it was on sale or return.
And I take it they didn't tell him.
Well, I didn't. I knew nothing about this. None of my business, obviously. None of my business. But an ex-employee sent me pictures of the guy's car, a customer who I know, and basically told me the story. I have evidence on my phone. So they'd smashed his car, repaired it, give it back to him, didn't tell him, and then I think this scorned employee made it his business to tell the owner. I hear things like that all the time. You hear stories, but there's stories and then there's proof, you know? So yeah, there's a lot of untoward that goes on in the supercar business.
What about all these cars that it's the same car, but it's a little different edition, a limited edition, this edition, that edition? Is it just Emperor's New Clothes, just charging you a load of money for the same car?
Well, you get towards the end of a manufacturer's life of a model, you'll get the runoff chassis that they will then make an edition. It's just, they'll just pile all the extras on a car, make the grille black, call it a night edition, charge you 20 grand more, say they've only made 100 pieces, and all of a sudden it's, you know.
So is that a scam or is that just good marketing?
Well, it's good marketing. I don't think that's a scam. Not doing anything wrong. They're just utilizing their materials.
All right. Is it playing their customers for fools?
It's
Nissan GTR. I got is it R35, the later one?
Yeah.
And I got that. I got a 2007 import, the Japanese one. And they just keep tweaking it and tweaking it. And it's still the
Bit
same.
more brake.
Yeah. Still the same car.
Different bumper.
15 or whatever years later.
Yeah. Well, what Nissan have done with that car, to be fair,
They've rinsed it.
Yeah. That was a 45 grand car when it came out. That was the cost price.
I paid late 20s for mine.
Yeah. So new in 2010 or late 2009, the Japanese cars came over. The UK cars were like 2010. They were 45 grand. Black edition, Recaro edition.
Yeah.
And then just your standard one. The Recaro edition, by the way, or the black edition rather, had 2 red stripes on the seat. That was it. There was nothing else. And it was like extra, whatever.
Yeah.
Like everyone was like, oh, I've got a black edition. Oh, I've got 2 red stripes down the seat. Great.
Yeah.
Now, what's the new cost or the last cost price of the Nissan GTR? I bet it was 110, 120.
Yeah. Lambo, have they done it with the Huracan? I mean, I can't have lost count. And I think you've got the Technica here.
Technica.
STO.
Your Sterato.
Storato.
Put some fog lights on the front.
Yeah.
Plastic arches.
Yeah.
Good car, by the way. Good car. I'm going to be...
It's all the same car.
I know, but I'm not going to have the Storato slagged off. That's a good car.
But why would you drive a Lambo Huracan in a desert?
No, not in the desert. Just like speed bumps.
Yeah, but you just have the...
Storato doesn't come with lift.
No, of course, because it's higher.
So I don't have to slow down.
It looks like a Huracan on stilts.
Yeah.
Which is what it is.
But what I like about it as well, this I'm showing my age now, is the tires. They're a thicker profile tire. They're an off-road tire, essentially, really. And God, the car just drives. It's a bit softer than the STO because the STO's got bigger wheels, smaller profile tires. It's quite soft. It's a little bit higher. You don't have to worry about scraping the front. It's 4-wheel drive. It looks bonkers, which I think is cool. I like things that are different.
But it's not different. It's the same car.
Yeah, no, it's the same car, exactly. But it's got some plastic arches and some fog lights.
But so if the marketing works on you, it's going to work on ordinary people like us. And you've seen every car there is.
And I'm batting their corner. I'm telling you to buy one. You know what I'm saying? That's a cool car. But yeah, it's the same car.
And also, I guess we're led to believe that these limited editions will go up in value. Do they, though?
The problem, I think, that manufacturers are doing wrong. What is a limited edition now?
Well, nothing is.
Yeah, but what number would you class as limited on a special car?
100, 500, depending on the car.
100 to 500, I say.
Yeah.
What cars are that now? The new Ferrari F80, I think, is one of 800 cars. When did that happen? You know, an F50 was one of 349.
Right.
An Enzo was one of 399.
So
LaFerrari was one of 499, and now the F80 is one of 800.
What are they doing then?
There's more buyers out there.
Is it purely commercial? They just want to make more money?
I honestly feel like these manufacturers are very conscious of cutting out the likes of us, the grey market, if you will.
Right, yeah.
For example, when a LaFerrari came out, it was £1 million plus tax. So in the UK, it was 1.2 million. And it was a lot of money back then for a car. But, you know, there were cars at that kind of price. This new F80, which has 40% more units, is coming out at £3 million plus tax. So it's 3.6 unspec'd. So what they've realized is the LaFerrari, as soon as it came out, went from 1.2 to 2.5 because of us.
Right.
Because I'd say to you, you have no relationship with Ferrari. You want a LaFerrari, it's going to cost you 2.5. The guy who played the game with Ferrari, he's cashed in, he's quids in, he's lost some money, but he's earned a lot of money. Everyone's happy. I've earned some money. Everyone's happy. But now these manufacturers are going, right, screw you guys. We know that we can get the end price for our cars, so we're going to charge it.
But then people are like, well, they're way too expensive. They make more, so the demand is
Ferrari
slightly less.
will always sell 800 cars. There's always 800 people in the world that are buyers of that car.
But I just have a feeling like cars are really expensive now, not just the F80, but everything. This thing behind you. How do you actually say it?
Pura sangue.
Pura sangue.
Yeah.
And what do you call it? What's its nickname?
Purosaurus.
Purosaurus. It does look like a baby dinosaur. You were moaning to me about the price of that, and you've owned cars worth millions of pounds.
So whether I like something and appreciate it comes down to the value of it. I don't mean that as if it's super expensive, I automatically like it because it's expensive. What I mean is, if I see value in that item, if I see really good value, I like it. If I don't see value in it and I do like it, but then I don't like it, you know?
So basically, the price is linked to the value, and something can be expensive and you love it, or not that expensive and not love it.
Exactly.
So you're comparing a 4x4 Ferrari with an Urus or something else, and if the prices are out,
you've got to look at. I mean, we spoke earlier, and you said, you know, what are they like? What are the Pura Sangues like? I said, look, it's a great car, V12, naturally aspirated. The only thing that I think lets it down a little bit is it's only got 4 seats. So it's strictly a 4-seater car. Which for the audience that they're targeting, let's say they're targeting the extremely wealthy businessman's wife, hit kids to school, daily user, school run car, like what a Urus was sort of targeted at. Well, a lot of people have more than 2 kids, you know? And by law, you can't put a child, I think, in 12 or less in the front of a car.
Right.
They've got to get in the back.
Yeah.
Like myself, I've got 3 kids. So if the car was $100,000, it's no use to me.
Yeah.
I can't buy it. So, but Ferrari is saying that they're not accepting the fact or acknowledging the fact that it's a SUV. It obviously is an SUV. It's a 4-wheel drive jacked up Ferrari.
Yeah.
It's an SUV. That's what we call an SUV. But they're like, no, it's not. It's not an SUV.
And how much is it? New.
New price. Well, the new price on that car was $425,000.
So is that good value at 425?
Well, I've just sold it for less than cost price.
Right, which is not abnormal, but over recent years is abnormal.
Yeah, I mean,
but do you think that's good value for 425 grand for a 4x4?
No. I think if the car was 300,000, I would say, Rob, they're amazing cars.
Yeah.
That or a Urus personally.
So this is my problem. When car manufacturers try and cut the grey market out, increase the price so much, in the end we go, they're not worth it and we won't pay it for it. And then they drop.
Then the prices drop.
Yeah. And isn't that what's happening in a way?
Of course it's what's happening. I mean, Lamborghini Revuelto, okay? When they first came out, which weren't that long ago, you've seen these dealers who don't know what they're doing, okay? They haven't been around long enough to understand the market. They're putting cars up for $799,950. $800,000 for a car that costs $500,000, because they just want to be seen to have one. Oh, we've got one. Well, anyone could have one if you're advertising one at $800,000. That car now, we're not charging over list for a new Revuelto. It's $550,000.
Yeah,
not over list. And now because we put one on at that price, people are like, oh, okay. We look stupid now. Oh, no, you've looked stupid for months. So, yeah.
So when was the last time you saw it where cars would drop, even nice cars like a Revuelto?
I've seen it all my life. The only time I didn't see it was during COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was like a three-year blip.
So everyone's been acting like that's normal and everything goes above list.
But those are people who are not experienced in the supercar market. I mean, yes, there'll always be cars that go up in value. Of course there will be. And there'll always be cars that hover. But predominantly these cars, when you see someone driving a Lamborghini, back in the day when you couldn't afford to buy a Lamborghini and you'd see someone driving a Lamborghini, you would, number one, think they're very wealthy because of the price of the car that they're driving, but also the fact that they can afford to drive that car. They can afford the loss in that car. If people didn't lose money in cars, everyone would have a Cullinan, a Revuelto, a P1.
Yeah.
Of course they would. Why not?
It's like a bank account.
It's like finance is easy to get these days. It's not really that expensive. Put 10% down on a Revuelto, it's 55 grand. Pay $2.5 grand, $3 grand a month. Like you've got a £500,000 car, but it's all of a sudden it's not 600,000. It's now worth 450. So you've lost 150. Well, I can't afford to lose 150. Well, then you can't afford to have the car.
Yeah. So do you think the Revuelto? I'm an Aventador owner. You know that. Is that really worth twice plus what my Aventador is?
We had this conversation before about an SVJ and your Aventador, if you can remember.
Yeah.
You said, is an SVJ worth twice as much? Because an SVJ is the same price as that now. So the question is, what would I rather have, an SVJ or a Revuelto? Because they're the same price.
So are you asking me?
Yeah.
In terms of owning and using, I mean, I haven't driven a Revuelto yet. So assuming it's a next level up from the Aventador,
Twin
which I would.
Gearbox.
Yeah, which my Aventador doesn't have. So I'd want the better one.
Of course.
So the SVJ is...
So which one's overpriced?
the SVJ, which is what I said to you when I came here last time. But you said, no, they're 500 and that's
That was before that.
Right.
You know, that was before that. That's an amazing car. An SVJ is an amazing car and it is limited. It's not that limited though. It is 900 coupes, 800 roadsters. So if you add that together, 1,700 cars.
So should we not be looking at the model number SVJ and actually look at how many cars were made? Because you can get some watches that aren't limited editions, but they hardly make any.
Yeah, of course.
Because I like the APs.
Yeah.
I mean, they made 1 million of these bloody watches just in a different shape.
Yeah.
And I fell for it every time. I've got one on my wrist because it said limited edition.
Yeah.
But the ceramic ones, I got a chance to buy all the white, the black, the blue ceramic. And because they weren't limited edition, I didn't buy them because I was suckered by limited edition. But they're much lower numbers because they can't make many.
Yeah, I mean...
So limited edition is a scam.
A friend of mine had the blue ceramic one on last week when I seen him. And it's the first time I've seen a blue ceramic. I've seen the white, I've seen the black.
Yeah.
Both incredible. I've seen the blue.
I know. It is amazing, isn't it?
That's a watch.
Yeah.
That's a watch.
And are they still, 400-ish?
Yeah, I mean, get one. Try and get one.
See, that's not a limited edition.
No.
But they can't make many of them because the ceramic process is so hard.
It takes so long.
Yeah. So should we ignore all the marketing and branding from cars and just look at how many they actually made?
But the car enthusiasts do that. For instance, Porsche went through, or Porsche for a lot of you viewers who are...
You're going to get trolled for saying Porsche.
Porsche says Porsche. Anyway. I have a word for you.
What's that word for them?
It's a 4-letter word. There's actually 2 of them. In the 90s, in the 993 model, they made some really, really rare cars that were never marketed as, one of 100 or one of 50 or one of, I'm talking less than that. Less than that. Some cars, I think they made a 993 turbo convertible. I think it was one of 9. One of 9.
Wow.
What they'd just do is they'd do a very short run and just say to their best customers, there's this car available. So they weren't ever for sale. They just were given, or not given, but sold to top clients.
Right.
They've done the same with a Porsche 964 lightweight turbo, a Lachbau they call it. Like, these cars barely existed.
Yeah.
We're talking tens.
So
not hundreds, we're talking tens.
Right. So if you want a car that appreciates in value, you've got to look at how many were actually made and none of the other shiny shit.
Of course. Because manufacturers do the opposite these days. They go, this is limited edition to 7,000 pieces. There's not really much limited about that, mate.
Yeah.
It's nothing's... I said to you earlier, what is a number for a limited edition car? If you'd have asked me 5 years ago, I'd have said less than 200. I now have acknowledged the fact that it's got to be less than 500. Anything more than 500 is not a low-numbered car.
Why has the supercar market crashed?
It hasn't crashed. We're directly back to where we were in 2019.
Yeah, but it went up so high.
It's COVID, supply and demand.
So it's corrected if it's not crashed because supply is back up. Is that what you're saying?
It's just things are now back to normal. They're back running. Supply. So,
but these are 550 grand.
Yeah, it's inflation.
Yeah, it's inflation.
It's inflation.
Yeah. Is it natural inflation?
How much did a holiday cost 10 years ago?
Yeah, but this is just one model up from the Aventador,
which was 10 years ago.
Is it price inflation or is it greedflation?
I think it's price inflation. I think when you look pro rata, yes, cars have gone up a disgusting amount in what one new model. Range Rover is the best example in the world. They've gone up 70% from one model.
That's not just inflation. Inflation hasn't gone up that much. It's gone up, but that's also greedflation, surely.
Well, I say they've gone up that. They have, but they haven't because the prices now are nearly back to where the old model was.
Which was my point.
Yeah,
my
yeah,
point
yeah.
was if that is 3 times the cost, because what would my Aventador get? 180 grand?
No,
200?
when an Aventador came out, they were 250,000.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I
it's
paid
doubled.
255.
Yeah, so it's
and
doubled.
now it's 550.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Double.
110%.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
It is a lot.
Inflation hasn't been 110% in 10 years. I mean, it's been maybe 50%, but not 110.
I compare it to things like hotel rooms in London, in the West End. Okay.
But you can't compare anything to a hotel room.
Why?
Because they've gone up more than anything
But
else
that's
in
what
the
I'm
world
saying,
ever.
But it's inflation.
It's greedflation
It's luxury,
as well.
It's luxury inflation. It's a different inflation. Hotels,
Gone wild.
watches,
Gone
cars.
wild. Gone wild. So they're mugging us off because
Look
they
at
think
fuel.
we've got the money.
Look at
They're
fuel.
mugging us off.
Look at fuel costs.
Yeah, but that doesn't affect the manufacturer. They just make the car.
No, but what do you need to put in your car? You know. So everything it's a luxury. It's a luxury tax.
Now we're getting somewhere. But you've also said that you think they're trying to cut the grey market
I think
out.
manufacturers are because they've realised that
because they can make more money. Greedflation.
they can make more money. Why are we leaving it to Tom Hartley cars? We're not making £1 million, but we might be selling it for $1 million over list. The guy who's made £1 million is the guy who had to play your game and lose thick end of £1 million, which now he's getting back to. He hasn't made £1 million. You've still made more
Yes.
than everybody. So just keep everybody happy.
Well,
You know?
you would say that. You're a great... You would say...
You know.
But yeah, you didn't make all that extra margin.
No. They get both bites of the cherry. They make you lose a shit ton of money on cars
Yeah.
to get the car that you want.
Yeah.
And now the car that you want, you're now giving them all your profit to buy the car because the price has gone up that much.
I don't think that Revelto, no matter what it did, is worth double the price of my Aventador. So I'm like, fuck you all.
So
Fuck you
So,
all.
I mean-
I'll keep my 7 old cars. I'm more interested in the 150 grand Ferraris you've got here.
Yeah.
I mean, a 430.
Well, they're going nowhere in value, as in down. They're not going down.
430, 100 grand. Which, what you got there? The 488 is that
488
one?
Spider,
Yeah,
yeah.
150 grand, 160 grand. That's where the value is, surely.
That is where value is. Yeah, of course. And that's why we sell 5 of those a week.
Right. But so the market are getting this. So surely the market are going like, well, fuck these things at half, or there's just too much money out there and they just buy them.
There is a lot of money out there. It's unbelievable how much money there is out there.
Well, because assets have gone like that. They just...
So people's confusion on the car market of hitting a crash, let's call it, compared to where it was, yes, it's crashed percentage-wise in value. But compared to where it was before that,
Yeah.
it stayed exactly the same. Okay?
Yeah, it's normal.
So all we done is just go, we Bitcoined it.
Yeah.
And then
We pumped and dumped.
Yeah, we pumped and dumped, exactly. So I'll revert back to another scenario which will give you a different outlook on the Revolto as an example. What car, say you had £1 million to spend on a car. I want to spend £1 million on a car. I want a car that looks insane, that's 1,000 brake horsepower, that's way too fast to drive, it looks like the fucking Batmobile, and I've got £1 million to do it. What do you buy?
I'd come to you and get you to give me 200 grand off that P1 behind us.
Well, you wouldn't be getting 200 grand off of it, but
You'd look after me though, wouldn't you?
That is a cheap car.
Yeah.
But what I mean is, there's a
Would
gap.
that be, if I could get that, just over the $1 million, is that a good car for that money?
I guarantee somebody who buys that car will earn 250,000 a year for the next 3 years on that specific car. I just took it off sale and put it up 100,000. Put it back on sale, and all my customers were like, "Carl, you've put the P1 up 100 grand." I'm like, "Yeah." Well, last week it was 1.1, now it's 1.250. Yeah. Well, can we have it for 1.150? No. Because who decides when that car, there's a period in time where that car takes a leap. It's not my fault. I own it in the time where it took a leap. So I'm not going to give it to you for yesterday's price. Yesterday's
Even if
price
we're
is not
friends,
today's price.
Even if we're friends and
Even
we've
if
done
we're
deals
friends.
together.
You might get a little
I'll
bit.
remember that.
You might get a little bit, but you know what I mean is people were holding back and didn't want to buy it when it was 1.150. Now it's 1.250. People want to buy 1.150.
Yeah.
Well,
FOMO.
Yesterday's price is not today's price. But that could work both ways.
Yeah. So when you asked what I'd buy for about $1 million, said the P1, why did you ask that?
Because there's a massive void in the market cost-wise between $500,000 and $1 million.
As in?
There's no cars.
There's nothing for between $500,000 and $1 million?
No.
Right.
What supercars out there? Because every supercar that comes out now is 1.6. You know, you get the Revolto, you get a Senna, McLaren Senna, which is a limited car to 500 cars. It's a good car. That's that's just a big void. There's nothing there.
Yeah.
So Lamborghini are just trying to separate themselves from Ferrari to an extent, where they go, look, we've always sold cars that cost more in our supercar range than Ferrari. Always have.
But then Ferrari have come and
way
more than
Ferrari
the
are not
Urus.
far behind them, exactly. Yeah, way more than the Urus. The SF90 costs the same price as the Revolto.
Do any of these give a fuck about their customers?
In what way?
Well, bang the price up, get more than Ferrari, more than Lamborghini. Do you
look,
actually think about...
I can't be hypocritical here.
Yes, you can.
What I mean is...
Why can't you be hypocritical?
There's a lot of cars that I sell to people that I think, well, I could have probably afforded to take $2,000 less on that car, but I didn't because he was going to buy it and I would rather have it than somebody else have it.
Yeah, but I guess because you're a grey market dealer, you've probably done the opposite too, where you've shaved off a bit more than you'd like.
But the difference being, I am purchasing something that's already made and manufactured. I'm not manufacturing it, you know? So I have a big element of risk here.
So you're saying I shouldn't begrudge them making money. That's their product. They can do what they want.
You either choose to play the game or you don't.
Yeah, I mean, I can choose not to buy it.
Exactly.
But I have an Aventador, and at better money, I'd be a Revolto customer because like you, I like value. Now, maybe they don't care. Maybe they just want people with fuck you money who don't care and they'll buy it no matter what.
Why don't you think that shows value?
Because it is not twice as good as my Aventador. But it fucking isn't.
The other argument is that it's the same price as an Aventador, as an SVJ. And you know what?
But I told you that the SVJ is...
It is twice the car your Aventador.
No, you just want to sell me.
No, it is.
You just want to sell me
It's 1,000 brake horsepower. It's double clutch gearbox. You're not going to tell me your Aventador looks nicer than that.
No, it doesn't look nicer, but it
still looks great.
Nice.
Yeah, it still looks great, but
and
it doesn't
in 30 years, maybe the Aventador does look nicer.
Beauty's in the eye of the beholder.
You should be a politician.
I should be a politician. I'd be better than this other fucking idiot we've got.
Okay, so you don't think we're getting mugged off? You think it's just the game?
I think certain brands are mugging people off. I think that was a bad example.
Okay.
I think the Purasang is a good example
of mugging punters off.
Yeah,
because it's just too much money and it doesn't even have 5 seats.
So okay, so what's going to make matters even worse here, right? Is Ferrari would say to their clients, they'd say, right, so a client would walk in like, I'd like to order a Purasang, please, and they go, okay, absolutely no chance. Well, why not? Well, all of our customers want one. We're only getting so many a year. You can't have them. But if you buy a 296 for 300 grand and a 296 GTS for 340 grand, we will get you a Purasang. And they think, oh God, well, they're so short in supply, these Purasangs. Okay, I'm going to lose a little bit of money on the 296s, 200 grand, and the 296s. But I'm going to make that up on the Purasang. I've been selling Purasangs for less than list for 6 months. So you've played the game, you've lost 100 in the 296, 100 in the 296 GTS, and you're now losing 50 in a Purasang.
That is mugging off.
That's mugging you off. That's mugging you off.
Ferrari seem to be able to do whatever the fuck they want.
They're the best brand in the world.
And what, they'll just keep getting away with doing whatever the fuck they want.
They will always. I'm a massive Ferrari fan.
I am as well.
So like,
but there comes a point where you're like, is it just that when you're that good, you can do what the fuck you want? It's like Ricky Gervais can't get cancelled in comedy. Can say what he wants because he's that good. Yeah. Is it just like that? Yeah. They're just that good.
Of course. Who is going to say that they're not allowed to do it? They're not putting a gun to anybody's head. They're not forcing them to do anything.
No, wait a minute. No, they are, because Justin Bieber can't get a Ferrari. Kim Kardashian can't get a Ferrari from Ferrari.
There's other outlets.
But they can't buy a Ferrari from Ferrari.
Why?
Well, I was going to ask you why. You know why?
Was it because they modified it or something?
Yeah.
I know Philip Plein, the fashion designer, had a big court case with them, and he won.
What? Because what happened?
I think he wrapped his car in a stupid color, and it was marketing, wasn't it? It was marketing, and then he displayed a set of trainers on the bonnet or done something,
on Ferrari.
What
did they do?
And they told me he wasn't allowed any more car, but he publicized it. He posted all the emails saying that he couldn't do this, couldn't do that, and never heard no more about it. But then all of a sudden, he's taking delivery of a new SF90 Spider from Ferrari, and everyone's happy and shaking hands.
So they did a deal.
They might have done a deal because he's got someone like that with tens of millions of followers. They've got a lot of pull. It's just bad press. You don't want to be good. No one wants bad press.
So even Ferrari have a limit on their arrogance then.
No, I think they have to set their stall out, because if they send you a letter and tell you can't have another Ferrari, because you're going to say, well, why? Is it just because I'm, I haven't got, I know you're a bad example, you got a load of followers, but, I haven't got 10 million followers. And I said, well, Justin Bieber's got 200 million followers and he's not allowed one.
But he's not allowed one because he modified it.
Yeah.
Because I can't decide what I think here, because part of me thinks that probably makes you want their brand more.
Of course it does.
The fact that they're a bit standoffish and arrogant and fuck you. I mean, I like artists like that. I like musicians like that. But because I want one and I don't want to get mugged off, it pisses me off as well.
Because that's human nature. Human nature is, you're like, oh, I can't have one, can I not? No. All right.
That's your nature.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Definitely your nature.
Yeah, exactly. Like the worst thing you could say to me is no. That's I don't even want it, but I want to piss you off. That's the worst thing you can say to me is no, you can't have that. It's not available. If I want to get into a restaurant, I'm going to come across that trick here, but if I want to get into a restaurant and it's always last minute with me. I can have a table for 4. It's 5 o'clock on a Saturday. I want it for 8 o'clock on a Saturday. And they're like, no chance. I'm not bothered whether I eat in the restaurant or not. I didn't really care in the first place. But now I have to get a table. I have to get a table. So I have to call somebody or call through another avenue and somehow get a table. And then 50% of the time I don't turn up anyway.
And you wasted 3 hours.
Yeah, but it was just, it's just, my wife reckons I've got ADHD. Is that part of ADHD?
I don't know. I'm not a doctor.
She reckons I've got a few things, but that was that's
it might be somewhat obsessive compulsive. It might be because you've been buying and selling cars for 30 years?
25 years.
Yeah, I mean, watch the previous episodes I've done with Carl, because you told the story about selling your first car and all that. We've done all that already, but maybe it's just you love the sport of what you do. You do it in cars. You have to do it. You have to do it in watches. You have to do it in everything.
Yeah. So the art of negotiation is that someone always says no. Every time.
So you always know. Are you trying to get it quickly to get beyond it, or is there a bit more tactic to it?
If you went to negotiate with me on a car and you said, Carl, that P1, I want to give you £1 million for it. And I went, okay, Rob. You'd think, oh, fuck me.
Should have offered 9.
Gone in a bit fucking fast here.
Yeah.
Like this could have come for less. So everyone says no.
Yeah.
So when someone says no to me, I'm used to people saying no. No doesn't mean anything. Like, no doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
It just means okay, I need to tackle this from another angle. That's all no is.
Yeah. I do remember when we were upstairs with your dad and I had my Richard meal on and you offered me too low at first. So I was like, nah.
Mm-hmm.
So is that a bit of a risk sometimes if you're going too low, you're out? Because I think if you'd have offered me a bit more, because I know you would have come up because what you offered was low. If you'd offered me a bit more, you might have drew me in a bit. But you just offered me too low, and we're supposed to be friends.
Well, you didn't give me any.
No, I didn't
throw the ball back.
No, because you offered too low.
So
you threw the ball way over there to fucking run and get it.
So you need, in a situation like that, what I'm expecting is you to go, no, Carl, that's too low. Look, I wouldn't think of selling it for any less than
right
whatever. And then I'm like, okay, so now we've started.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I false started. I didn't even start.
You stalled.
Yeah, but you went in too low.
I don't really think it was for sale anyway.
Everything's for sale at the right money,
exactly.
isn't
But
it?
at the time when
I've still got it. I've still got it.
And I know you love it. So it probably isn't for sale.
No. And I did end up giving you the Porsche to sell anyway after, didn't I? So
we're both done all right out of that.
Yeah.
So yeah.
This recent budget should warn you that your pension is not safe and secure and they're coming for your inheritance. Do you even know how much is in your pension or where your pension is invested? Add to this the recent inheritance tax grab on your pensions and the risk of a market crash. You probably didn't know this, and I didn't until recently, but physical gold can be added to your pension pot. Gold is inheritance tax free and has grown 700% in the last 20 years. You probably know from my content I'm investing heavily in silver and gold, and that's why I've partnered with Direct Bullion. Myself and Nigel Farage are brand ambassadors, and Direct Bullion can help you with gold to protect and grow your pension. I buy my gold and silver from Direct Bullion, and I don't earn any money on any purchases of gold or silver if you buy direct from Direct Bullion. So if you go to robmore.directbullion.com, you can get a great price on your silver and gold, and you can get the Pension Gold Investing Guide completely for free. As you know, I don't do many strategic partnerships. And when I do them with people who are credible, who've been doing it a long time, who invest in things that I invest in too. And gold and silver's going wild. I'm investing heavily in gold and silver, and I recommend you check out robmore.directbullion.com.
Carl, what's the most overrated supercar brand?
Oh, the most overrated supercar brand, Lotus. Is that even a supercar brand? I don't acknowledge it as a supercar brand. But they do make this hyper supercar. Just awful. Lots of trouble, usually serious, Lotus stands for.
I take it doesn't stand for that.
Well, I think it does.
Lots of trouble.
Couldn't think of what else it could possibly stand for.
And are you talking about them? There's something going on. Are they Chinese back now?
I don't know. I'm not even interested in looking or tolerating a Lotus whatsoever. You will never see me sell a Lotus or a Tesla unless it's a Cybertruck. I do want to buy a Cybertruck.
Elon?
No, I do want to buy. I really do want to buy a Cybertruck.
Let me show you this though. This is just serendipitous.
My little boy Christian is obsessed with Cybertrucks.
Right.
They're not even that expensive.
And they're ugly as fuck.
But do you know when something is so vulgar, like that Cullinan, right?
Yeah, that is. I don't get it. I don't get that. I don't get that.
I absolutely love that.
Because it's so vulgar.
It's so vulgar. It goes full 360. People look at you and they don't know what to say or think. They don't, they're just completely taken back by this monstrosity of a car that has now got a kit and 24-inch wheels and carbon fiber and being lowered. And they're like, oh, fuck's sake. Like,
and 400 grand.
And 400 grand. Yeah. Love it.
Right. Let me ask you about this. This is random. But I fucking like these Esprits. You said Lotus.
Okay. So.
They're not a lot of money.
That's where it comes back to the value conversation we had. Right?
Yeah.
These Lotuses they're bringing out, I don't know. I have to see how much. I don't even pay attention to Lotus, but there's one I think it's like 300 grand or 400 grand or something, or even more.
For a Lotus.
It crashed at the Goodwood Festival of Speed, didn't it?
Right.
Which, standard. But this is 16 grand. Like, forget the car. The fact that you want it and you like it and it's 16 grand, it shows good value.
Yeah.
But the new Lotuses that are out there are 100, I mean, have you seen these Lotus SUVs, these electric ones?
Yeah.
God, they're awful.
They look weird.
They're awful.
Okay, so what's the most overrated supercar brand of the big four?
Porsche.
Porsche.
I don't think there is an overrated. They all do different things. They have overrated models, I think.
So the most overrated model.
Most overrated model. I feel bad saying anything about Ferrari because I love Ferrari. Lamborghini are fine. I want to look at Porsche, but they're not really that expensive to say they're overrated.
I mean, McLarens drop a lot, don't they?
I think McLarens are underrated.
But only second hand.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. New price.
Yeah.
But the reason they're so expensive new is because you know what they're going to be second hand. With a Ferrari, the new price is normally quite close to what the second hand price is.
Right.
So that's just the price of them. You look at a 765 LT. What a car.
The one you've got.
Yeah.
Here.
Well, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I've got one, but
Yeah.
you know, whatever. And I'd challenge you to go and drive a better car than
Well,
that.
also the way it looks, we just drooled over it.
It looks amazing, drives insane. It just
But
has.
they have such a bad rep,
We've
McLaren,
had
don't
this
they?
conversation so much.
We have, yeah.
You know,
is it getting better?
It's got a bad rep for people who have never had one. You know,
I've never had one. But my business partner, he's just researched forever and cost of servicing. You nick it, how much it costs, how much they go. I mean, their aftercare.
Mhm.
I mean, it's pretty well known, isn't it?
Their aftercare is a shit show.
Yeah.
You know, they're their own worst enemy.
Mm.
But I do think what with McLaren just sealing the Constructors' Championship in F1,
Right.
F1 really affects the car market.
Yeah.
Yeah, really, really affects the car market. So now McLaren, to win the Constructors' Championship, it shows that we are the most consistent car on the track. Okay? We have had the best consistent finishes throughout the whole year. So that aims to reliability, yeah? If your car's not reliable, you can't get the best finishes throughout the year. So all of a sudden, McLaren could turn around and say, actually, guys, in motorsport, we are the most reliable car on the track. We haven't got the best two drivers on the track. We haven't got the best car on the track. But we are the most consistent.
Mm. So why do they drop so much?
Because, like, sometimes they set on fire. Only sometimes. What car doesn't set on fire now and again?
Porsche?
Yeah, they do.
Do they?
Yeah, the 2000 and... When was it? The GT3. I don't know if it was the 991 GT3 when it came out. They all set on fire. They all had to have an engine replacement as a recall.
Wow.
Yeah. But, you
Okay.
know, Porsche, we've talked about Porsche. Porsche are not supercar.
You don't think they're a supercar?
I don't class them as a supercar.
You must sell loads of GT2, GT3 RSs.
Yeah,
So I always see loads in here.
Yeah.
And you're saying they're not a supercar?
My definition of what a supercar isn't a Porsche. It's far too reliable.
But you're a
It's
supercar.
far too practical.
You're a supercar dealer.
I am.
And you stock loads of
Rolls Royce.
Porsche. You Rolls Royce, yeah. So basically, you'd sell anything if it was the right.
Yeah, I mean, my market consists. I mean, look, before people start jumping on the comments,
Now,
right?
let them. You don't give a fuck, do you?
I don't give a fuck, especially the Porsche people. But anyway, they're too good of a car.
How can something be too good so it's bad?
Because we've had this conversation before. You know, imagine never having a misword or laughter or an argument or anything with your wife. You just get the same monotone mood all the time. It's not that bad, but it ain't that good.
Sounds like my wife.
Well, nickname her Porsche. because you just get the same thing.
Yeah.
I know people are going to be like, oh my God, I've got a GT4 RS or an RS Spider and it's so
It's
great.
the same fucking car, though.
Yeah,
The
but
same platform.
you know, there's a special type of owner in the supercar world, and that is the owner of a Porsche Boxster RS Spider. They
What are they?
yeah,
What are
they? They're still virgins, I think.
I wonder what we'll see in the comments about that.
Oh well, it is what it is.
Yeah. But I guess that's their gateway car, is it? Is it that at the entry?
Not really. It's 150 grand.
Yeah.
Like that car specifically. I'm not on about the Cayman or the Boxster. That's their gateway car.
Yeah.
That fits an audience.
Yeah.
That is my get on the ladder car.
Yeah.
And they're good cars. The Spider RS is for somebody who, God,
Just fucking say
they're
it.
just going to rip me. I don't care. Don't care. I'm doing a Ricky Gervais. I don't care. Right, so that's for somebody who can afford pretty much all of Porsche's catalogue, really. Turbo S, GT3. But no, you still want a Boxster.
Why would they still want a Boxster?
You tell me. Oh, because, the way the slip diff works against the fuck off. Just move on. Just move on.
On that note, we'll move on.
Sorry, not sorry.
Is car insurance a scam? And are car insurance companies a cartel?
Well, yeah, of course they're a cartel if they need to be. You cannot drive a car without car insurance, so you have got a gun to your head there. You don't have to buy a Ferrari, you don't have to buy a Lamborghini, but you have to have insurance. Like you have to pay tax, like you have to pay stamp duty. Like
you love stamp duty,
love
don't you?
stamp duty at the minute. Yeah, it's great. So yeah, you have to, and
there's no choice, so it feels a bit like a
no choice. So it's the cost. It's the part of the cost of owning the car.
yeah.
So like I said before, when you seen the guy driving a Lamborghini when you were younger and you lusted after a Lamborghini, it wasn't so much just the cost of what the car costs from the dealership. It's part of the cost of the ownership that represents how successful that guy has done and his wealth to be able to afford that car.
And the depreciation and the insurance
It's
and the maintenance.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, okay, the car was back then, say 100 grand, 150. Wow, the guy's got 150 grand in one car. Yeah, but it's not that. It's the 3 grand for the service, it's the insurance, and it's the depreciation that he's just set fire to. If the car doesn't drop in value, you've still lost a ton.
Just running it.
Just running it. So the cost of owning but I'm talking back in the day. So in today's world, Ferrari offer a 7-year free service pack. A lot of manufacturers offer at least 4 years free servicing. So, and the service costs are not very expensive anymore. And in a minute, every car's not going to have an engine, so there'll be no servicing.
So do you think that's why another reason why the prices are going up? Because they're loading it into the price.
They need to get the money from somewhere.
Yeah, because
Although I don't think Bugatti would ever skimp on their servicing costs. I think they're just going to keep it strong.
we'll come back to that. I took my DBS to Aston. They wanted over $1,000 for the button that puts the window up and down.
Mm-hmm.
It's a piece of plastic.
Yeah.
They wanted £1,000.
Mm-hmm.
Is that still going on? That like ridiculous money for servicing?
Well, I've just had, whilst we're here.
I mean, you can probably beat that with the story.
I'll beat it with the Bugatti.
We'll tell us about that.
But I've just had a quote for a lens on a rear light of a car, a mass-produced car.
Can you say what car it is?
Yeah, Rolls Royce.
Right.
A rear lens. 2,479 excluding VAT. So they want £3,000 for the lens on a rear tail light. Not the tail light, the lens. I've had that since we've been talking, which has put me in a good mood.
What about that Bugatti part?
Oh, so yeah, the window toggle, not the window toggle, the mirror toggle. It was just loose. It worked. It was fine. I bet your window didn't work.
Just about does.
Yeah, no, mine worked perfectly
Right.
fine. There was nothing wrong with it.
Yeah.
But because I'm a bit obsessive compulsive and OCD and whatever, I just had a bit of a movement in it. Just have a look at that for me, will you, whilst it's here? Whilst I'm giving you 40 grand for a service, any chance you could just have a look at that for me? Yeah, okay, we'll email you a quote.
For your Bugatti Veyron, of course.
Yeah. We'll email you a quote for the toggle for the mirrors. I'm thinking, well, whenever someone's going to email you a quote, doesn't sound good, does it?
They don't want to say it to your face.
No. So I said, okay, no problem. £9,000 plus VAT. So I said, once again, I'm all about value. Break it down. make me understand why it's that price, and I'll pay you. Just make me understand why it's that price. Okay, it's very easy, Carl, to break it down. Okay, so you need a new switch. Okay, I assume that. You need a new door card. Okay, you need a new mirror motor. Why? Well, it all comes in one unit. So I can't come in one unit. A leather door card doesn't come in the same unit as the motor in a wing mirror. Well, that's just what it is. You can't individually do it. A guy I know he done it for free. The part was 89 pence, and I got 5 of them. I got 4 of them in my desk just in case it happens again. Yeah. So that's Bugatti tax. You got to play this game and realize in life, the more expensive things you have, the more luxury the item is, the more tax you pay in order to do that.
You've already paid a load for the thing, though.
Okay, but you go and buy a diamond from Hatton Garden, and you buy the same stone from Graf or Boodles or a top name brand.
Mm.
They haven't got their logo on the stone. The stone's a stone. It come from a cave somewhere in Africa. Like, it is what it is. My stone's the same clarity and the same size and the same shape as yours. Mine's from Hatton Garden. Yours is from Boodles. You pay 5 times the price. It's a luxury tax.
My DBS.
But what you've got to do, stop you for a second.
No, please.
You need to, and by the way, I can say to an extent that we can charge more for a car than certain people can charge.
You do.
Car. I can do.
You do.
I do sometimes.
Yeah.
But I give you value for it. I make it a special occasion. I cater to every service that you need to make sure that you get value out of paying me extra. I also have that on 24 hours a day. So if there's a problem at any time, I'll send my team down to sort it out. There's no like, oh, just take it to the dealer, mate. I'm not interested. You paid me now. Like, it's a service that we supply here. You got to pay for the service.
Mm.
So as long as you get that service, you're happy to pay the luxury tax.
So back to insurance. My DBS was parked, same space I park it every day outside of my office.
Mm-hmm.
And a lady in a Toyota Yaris backed into it, swapped details, went to claim on the insurance. My business partner was like, don't do that. The premium will go up. I said, well, it's her insurance.
His premium will go up as well.
Well, yeah, because we own these 7 cars together. And all of our lettings cars as well.
Yeah.
So this is the fucking scam. She crashed into me. Her bill might be 100 quid. My bill might be 500 quid, 2.5 grand. If I claim on her insurance, my DBS insurance goes up. The other 6 cars go up. An entire fleet of a letting agents that we own all go up because she fucking crashed into my car.
Yeah.
How is that? What is that?
That is not fair.
That's a scam.
That's a scam. And I had a similar situation with a Land Rover Defender. We had a problem with a Land Rover Defender, which is not unlike people to have problems with them. But I do love a Defender, so I can't slag them off. You got to live with the problem. Like being married to a psycho girlfriend or something. You know what I mean? You know she's psycho, but fuck, it's that good. So just keep going. It's fine. Yeah. So it's like that's what you get with unreliable cars. That's what I was on about supercars. You know, you have to compare them to the happiness it brings you when it's good. Does it outweigh the sadness it brings you when it's bad? And not so much when it's bad, because cars are so reliable these days. The bad part is the cost it costs to run. Does it make me more sad than when I'm happy? No. I'm going to buy one. So I had a Land Rover Defender. We've got them as we run for pool cars and company cars, and they pick up and deliver cars with a trailer and stuff. Great cars, Defenders. They break down all the time, but I do love them. One of them had a problem with the engine, so we sent it into Land Rover. I'm actually going to name drop everybody here. We sent it into Land Rover Derby, which I think are Stratstone, if I'm not mistaken. The car was there for like 2 months. But we had a courtesy car, so, you know, we're just moving on with everyday life. Anyway, every other week or every 3 weeks, I'd get somebody or I'd call up and chase them and go, you know, what's going on with this car? Is it going to be long? In the meantime, we had some really, really, really bad weather up in the Midlands, and Derby had some really bad floods. And Stratstone had their showroom, quite a new showroom, destroyed in the flood. Ridiculous. They never told me the car was involved in the flood. I had to ask them, is my car, if I come down and look at my car today, has it been in the flood? And they went, yes, it has. So why haven't you told me this for the last 3 months at this point? Anyway, getting back to insurance, we notified our insurance company and said, look, our car's been involved it's a total write-off. It was completely submerged in water. It's a total write-off. It's been at Stratstone Land Rover Derby. What do we do? Okay, no problem. We called Derby. Derby's like, inform your insurance company. You can claim through your insurance company. I said, I don't want to claim through my insurance company. I want to claim through your insurance company. You're the one that wrote it off. I didn't. We just got so many claims. You've got to go. And they pushed the point and really argued the point. And a lot of people who didn't argue back would have claimed through their insurance company.
Wow.
I mean, my car wasn't the only car that was written off. There was hundreds.
Yeah.
But yeah. And even then, it took us 6 months to get paid by our insurance company on a car that had absolutely nothing to do with us whatsoever.
No. Yes. I think the insurance industry is a for-profit corporation.
The best businesses in the world are the businesses that everybody has to have. You have to have insurance.
Yeah.
I got declined house insurance the other day by somebody because of my social media profile.
What about it?
Well, exactly, that's what I said. But the fact that I have a social media. Well, the fact that you're on social media, you're a public figure. Okay.
So they wouldn't give you insurance?
So they wouldn't insure house insurance, no.
What, because they thought you had a higher risk of...
I still don't really know the answer to the question. All my broker came back to me and said was, they won't insure you because of your social media profile.
I can only think that's risk.
Maybe so, but I mean, there's a lot of people out there that are a lot higher risk than me, I would assume.
Well, it's like banks debanking you because they don't like your political views.
Does that happen?
Yeah.
Really?
That happened to Nigel Farage. Debanking is a thing. If you post something on social media, let's say you put a strong post about your views on immigration, you could lose your bank accounts.
I could lose my business. Yeah, you got to know what to say and what not to say.
Out of the big four, which is the psycho?
Lamborghini.
Right.
Lamborghini.
So it just takes you to such a high that the lows are
well,
worth it.
It's a Lamborghini, God, it's just, it's the name. I know Ferrari's brand is far superior and the cars are great. I mean, everyone makes such good cars these days. But the fact of when you're a kid to think one day you'll own a Lamborghini, it almost is a step above a Ferrari. Would you agree?
Yeah, I probably would.
Yeah. It's a step above Ferrari.
Yeah.
So one day I'm going to own a Lamborghini. Fuck, it's Lamborghini.
Yeah.
That just gives you a buzz as it is, even if it doesn't even start. The fact that you've got it on the drive is great.
Do you wish they made more kind of cars at your level? Because you had the Zonda, and they do make these Centenarios or whatever. But
yeah, but that's a con because all that is an Aventador.
Yeah.
They made the Countach, the new, limited. It's an Aventador.
That's what I mean by it being a con.
It's not really. It's an Aventador.
It's not there. What was it? Was it the Tiesto? What was that?
That was a Huracan.
Yeah. So
no, a Gallardo. That was.
Yeah.
That was a Gallardo.
So basically, they're just taking the car, putting a few things on, like you said, at the end of the line. But they're charging millions for those things.
I think these manufacturers detune their engines to their capability of what they can take them to for future-proofing the model. So you got 1,000 horsepower in that Revolto. I guarantee by the time the SVJ comes out, it'll be 12 or 1,400 horsepower.
So they're thinking
it'll be the same engine.
They're thinking along the whole lineage.
Okay, well, don't go too much. Let's leave a bit of room for later because we can't take this engine any further if they went full out.
But if they went full out and they made it so popular and so good and wiped everything out,
they're not going to earn more money, are they? They're going to earn less money.
Greedflation.
Are they in business to make people happy or are they in business to make money?
Well, if they don't make people happy, they ain't going to make any money.
But there's a balance. So I need to make a certain amount of people happy and a certain amount of money for everyone to be happy.
That's true. And if you get it right,
that's why Pagani do exactly what you've said. Pagani make 100 units of a car, 100 units. And their prices are extortionately expensive. But you either own a Pagani or you don't.
But they make 100 units.
They make 100 units. That's it.
Yeah.
And by the way, you can buy a unit and we're not going to make a special edition. But if you want to make a special edition, then you can come to us. We'll be your designer. You can tell us what you want. We can make it happen. And you might pay the same cost again than what you gave for the car to customize it. But it's called the RM edition. You know, one of one. I think that's great marketing.
Yeah.
Because they understand that they can't make 1,000 cars.
No.
They haven't got the capacity. They can't.
Mm.
But what they do is they say, okay, our cars are £3 million. If you want any extras, you can have whatever you want. There's no spec. You want an air intake on the door? No problem, we'll do it. It's fine. But there's a lot of R&D needs to go into it and you need to pay for it. Okay, no problem.
Yeah.
Keep going, it's fine.
And that's the sort of thing you'd like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course. That's like separate. That separates, you know, that's when you're on about, you know, driving something that is rare or driving something that is, you know, semi-mass produced.
Mm.
You know, someone turns up in their LaFerrari, rare car, 499 units until you pull up in your Pagani. That, even if it's standard, mine was a standard car, it's still one of 99. But because I customized it, it's now one of one. You'll never see this car ever again here.
Is this not just a dick measuring exercise?
Yeah, of course it is. Of course it is.
What about just choosing something that you really like and who gives a fuck?
Because your mate's got the same one.
So?
And his
we're
mate,
not women. It's not about the clothes you wear going out. Who cares?
It is. It's the same thing.
If we had the same watch on, I wouldn't care. I'd be like, oh, nice one. We've got the same watch.
Yeah, you see,
You'd hate that, would you?
Yeah.
Oh, your face. There was a look of disgust in your face there.
You see, this is an off-catalogue piece.
So that's a Patek.
That's a Patek Philippe Nautilus. It's called a 5723-1R. They've done 3 variants of this watch. None of them, Patek, acknowledge that they actually produce because they're an off-catalogue piece. What that means is when Patek release their catalogue of all their watches they make, this has never been or will ever be in it. And they do one which is white gold with sapphires. They do a rose gold with rubies, and they do a rose gold with baguette diamonds. And I have been very lucky that I managed to secure this watch new from, 4 days ago, directly from Patek, from my AD at list price.
And if they made 100 of those, even if you like the model, you wouldn't want it?
If they made 100 of these...
And it was 400 grand?
And it was 400 grand.
You wouldn't want it?
But I never paid 400 grand for it. But that's what it would cost.
Yeah, but you wouldn't want it?
No, I would, because there's probably more than 100 of these in circulation in the world, I assume. I know Mark Wahlberg's got one, Lionel Messi's got one. But I've never seen one in real life. I've never seen anyone in the UK with one. I'm sure there are people with them.
So let's say they made 1,000 of them.
Well, if they made 1,000 of these and 2 of my friends had one,
you wouldn't want it?
I wouldn't want it.
Even though, so do you love the watch or do you love the fact that you can tell the story?
I love the fact that I've got something that somebody else hasn't got. Yeah. But I also love the watch.
Yeah, and that's very honest, by the way. Most people maybe wouldn't admit that. So does that make you easy to sell to?
It depends if you've got a rare enough item.
If you've got the item, are you easy to sell to?
Yeah.
I mean, you just want it, don't you?
So we talked about earlier about what was the conversation? It was a funny conversation we had earlier. What was you talking about?
We had a few.
About watches, though. And you said you just worked. Someone said they just worked to fund their watch habit.
Yes. Kevin O'Leary.
Yeah.
The only reason he gets rich and works 24/7, 365 is so he can fund his watch addiction.
So I get that. You know, so your priorities are your kids and your wife. That the kids are in school, they've got clothes, your wife's at home, she's happy. Then what else is there left to do?
Yeah, because you don't need cars. Because we might be watches and cars.
I would be a serial car buyer if I wasn't in this business. But this business is like, is like working in a strip club. You know,
You've seen it all.
You almost just walk past a naked woman like she's not there because it's all day, every day. You know, you don't appreciate how rare or how beautiful some of these things are because you just see them, and in a minute that one's going to go and another one's going to replace it, and that's that.
Yeah.
So the only other thing that a man can really spend money on is a watch. You know, and someone said to me the other day, "Oh, how many watches do you need?" My answer was like 8.
8. Why do you need 8?
Well,
why not 1?
Well, 1 doesn't cover every base. Because,
so what are the main bases?
So the watch that would cover the base the most, I suppose, would be probably a Rolex Daytona, steel Rolex Daytona, right? Because it looks
sporty
smart,
and dressy.
Sporty and dressy.
Yeah.
But it's not a special watch.
No.
So, you come to the point where you look at it and you go, it's nice. And it is a lovely watch. I have one. It's a lovely watch. But there's a time and a place for it. It's like cars. How many cars you got?
7.
How many cars do you need?
3.
I think more. Because you need your family car.
Yeah.
For your wife and your kids and to go out together as a family.
Yeah.
You want your car that gives you a buzz.
Yeah. Aerial atom.
Right? You need your supercar that you drive when you're going out, you and your wife, and you go to a nice restaurant. You don't want to take the family car. You're not taking the Atom. Definitely not.
Or the Aventador is too low. So the DBS for that probably, yeah. But then I daily that.
I think you can easily justify 5 cars. You can justify 5 cars.
Are some people watching this just going to think you're a prick? You need 5 cars.
No. Some people are watching this who thinks that what I've said is a very prickish thing to say.
You don't need 5 cars.
No, but I can justify it. I can justify why I need 5 cars.
But you could justify why you need 12 or 100.
Not 100. But I can justify why I need 12.
Yeah. So why do you need 8 watches?
Well, they're all for different occasions. And then sometimes when you're going somewhere and you think, right, I need to pull out something special because
you're in that environment.
I'm into that environment. And like owning a supercar or a hypercar, owning a very rare watch is a talking piece and can open doors to more business and to more avenues.
And that watch, a very special watch, is often quite understated. It's not the blingy special.
Well, there's some. I mean, there's a massive market in vintage watches. Some Pateks you wouldn't look at. You just wouldn't look twice at them.
Yeah.
And there'd be millions of pounds, and you would not look at you wouldn't look twice at it.
No.
And then you get these massive Jacob
and go
glass. I don't even know what it's like holding a vase on your wrist. I don't know what's going on. Some guys living in there walking around and like got goldfish just floating about.
Yeah.
And they're just hideous, aren't they?
He looks like he's doing well, Jacob.
We just signed the contract with Bugatti supplying all the timepieces in the tourbillon, which is called a tourbillon.
Yeah.
So that's a great and when you've got a brand behind you like Bugatti, it cements you as a brand.
Yeah.
Look at Rimac.
Yeah.
Yes, he's doing wonders for the new model Bugattis and the motors and the electric motors he's putting into the cars and making them faster and doing. But also, he is also running his own company. And someone could say, "Oh, I don't understand. I've never heard of this company Rimac before. Are they reliable?" Well, Bugatti back him.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good enough for me.
Mm.
So, that's more and more now. Different makes in clothes, in cars. They're
brand collabs.
They're doing collabs with each other.
Makes sense.
So many of them. I looked at a pair of trainers the other day. There were these. I wear them in the gym. These On. Yeah, are they called Ons? Like and they've got.
Yeah, I don't know. I know the ones you mean.
Right?
Yeah,
they're so comfortable. Honestly, the best. They're the best shoe you'd ever buy. But I picked up a pair the other day, and they've collabed with Lowy. Is it the brand Lowy?
Right.
And New Balance have collaborated with Hermes.
Right. Well, the biggest collab was Nike and Michael Jordan. I mean, Nike Air Jordan.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even with the cars, having a Burmester in it's a collab, really, isn't it? Between
and Hermes also do the some Bugatti versions. They've done some Pagani versions.
Yeah.
I mean, that's definitely a dick measuring competition. I mean, I've got a Chiron, but I sent mine to Hermes. Why?
So you wouldn't do that?
It's not like you're getting, a half leatherette inside the car when it comes as a £5 million car. Do you need the Hermes leather? I could probably justify why you do, yeah. No one else is going to have it.
Would you say you're the most hated supercar dealer?
I don't think I'm a hated supercar dealer at all. I think I'm well loved across the nation. I just think that my views on the reality of the business that I am in, people can't concept, and they think, how does that really happen? Is this guy just talking shit? Do these things actually happen? If you were in the inner circle like I am, and like a lot of my customers are, they see, like, I'm kind of a whistleblower to an extent. I'm the only person who is really outing people here and saying, they're conning people, they're fraudsters, that's a scam. Okay, they might not like me for it, but I don't care. I'm doing the public a service.
The Robin Hood of the car dealer.
Robin Hood of the car game, exactly.
And are you not scared that might hurt your business?
Well, I think everyone who knows me or knows our brand, especially who's ever met my dad, knows that we're probably the straightest talking people you will ever meet in this business or in any business. If the sky is blue, it's blue. And if you've got £12 billion, but you want me to say that the sky's pink, it's still blue. And I don't care who you are, it's blue. And that's just what it is. We're not governed by anybody. We're not sanctioned by anybody. We have our views, we have our opinions, and our views and our opinions are our reality in this business.
And because you're not governed by anyone, and because you're not representing a specific supercar brand, does that give you a license to be a bit more disruptive and to speak freely?
Yeah. If someone brings a car out and it's a shit car, I'll say it's a shit car. I'll still sell it. If you want it, I'll still sell it. My view is it's a shit car.
But actually, your view doesn't really matter if the client thinks it's a good car.
If he wants it, my view is not going to change his opinion. To an extent, some people who entrust me and who know me to invest in cars will say, Carl, what do you think of this car? And I'll say, it's shit, stay away. And they'll go, okay, no problem. But other people go, you know what? I just want one. Okay, fine. Well, Carl, will I lose any money in this car? Yes. Yes, you'll lose loads. Okay, I'm still going to buy it.
Yeah, and you'll probably get it back and sell it again.
It's just business.
Yeah.
I've got no emotional attachment to anything material.
Yeah.
I have no emotional attachment where, a lot of people will be like, oh, let's really represent this brand and represent that brand. I absolutely love Ferrari, but there's things they do that I don't agree with sometimes, and there's cars they bring out which I don't think are a good car. The 296, for example, what a car to drive, insane. But it's an ugly little thing with a V6 engine. Would I buy one? No, definitely not.
What about the new Ferrari they bought out?
But they're getting down to the point now where they're 200 grand, and I think,
value.
200 grand. I like that car. 330, I don't like it.
No. And what about the new F80?
That's gonna need to severely grow on me because I don't think it's an attractive car. I don't think it's got a good enough engine that could possibly, conduct the amount of money that it's going to as a price. And it's a thick end of a £4 million car with a V6 engine that doesn't look attractive, in my opinion, and is not that rare. So that's going to take some growing on me, I think. I could eat my words, but I don't think I will.
How much stock have you got value in this sitting here now?
Our stock varies. It doesn't vary much. So we've always got low to mid 20s.
Low to mid 20 millions.
Yeah, low to mid 20 millions.
So you've got 20 odd million
20 odd
pounds
million
worth
at
of
all times.
metal.
Unless something really special would come in, and that might be 4 or 5 or 6 million pounds alone.
Right.
Then all of a sudden you go to low 30s rather than mid 20s. But, at the minute, without doing an exact calculation, I would say I'm very close to about 23 million.
Okay. How much does it cost to insure 23 million quid's worth of cars?
So our insurance, we have a great insurance company. if there's such thing. If there's such thing. We have a great insurance company. We get them a lot of business because a lot of people do get their pants taken down when it comes to insurance, and we just put them in touch with our broker and say, look, crack on.
Yeah.
It only helps us with a sale. But our insurance is not just based on insuring if you had 23 million pounds worth of cars, you would be insuring 23 million pounds worth of cars. We're insuring a business, public liability, stock.
Yeah.
You know, it's all in one, it's one fee, isn't it?
And how much is that premium?
It's a lot. Is
it tens of thousands?
It's closer to hundreds.
Wow. But necessary.
Can't function without it. You know, can't function without it. But you can never be too safe. You know, we're dealing with machines that have highly flammable materials and liquids in them, and the ones that haven't have batteries in them. So, you know, one goes up, there's a chance they're all going to fucking go up.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's high risk, isn't it?
Has any car brand ever tried to stop you selling their cars or sent you a letter of complaint or anything like that for what you've said?
Me and my dad got escorted off the Ferrari stand at the Geneva Motor Show.
Did you?
Yeah.
Need to hear this one.
They were launching the LaFerrari, and we're at Geneva. We've always been guests of a certain brand on the sort of the trade day in Geneva, representing them, being their guest. And we were on the Ferrari stand. As you can imagine, the Ferrari stand on the launch of the LaFerrari had all Ferrari's top customers that were ordering the car, that were having the car. And then you get two of the most infamous car dealers in the world who not necessarily will go in there trying to poach customers or trying to poach cars, but it wasn't, I can understand why they done it. It wasn't a good look to have, we make our living off of you selling it to him and us buying it from him and selling it to him, you know? And they were like, you know, guys, we love you, but you got to leave. So my dad was like, why? Well, this is why. My dad said, well, he can do what he wants, but I ain't leaving. And I'm like, oh, here we go.
So they carried him off pretty much.
Well, yeah, yeah, you know, politely.
Yeah.
Yeah, he got politely scurfed off yeah, but you know, I get it. You know, but obviously it's a compliment. And they said afterwards, guys, it's a compliment. We're looking at you and we acknowledge that you are a force. And, you know, we've got people here and you're literally, if you wanted to, you could be offering them double the amount they're paying for this car there and then. And they're our clients. So I get it.
Yeah.
You know, back in the day as well, I'd used to, I'd buy a car that was an overlist car, like a car that would make more than the retail price. And you'd buy it from somebody who was just purely a speculator. So he's ordered a new Lamborghini, Ferrari, whatever it may be. And my transporter would wait in the car park. The guy would get in the car, do the handover, drive the car around the corner, straight into the back of our trailer. I'd pay him and then we'd go. And it got to the point the dealers would call and they'd say, Carl, can you be a bit more discreet about it? Like, there's a Halfords a mile away. Can you just park in Halfords? Like, our bosses are going to kill us.
Don't car brands now ban buyers if they do that?
Yeah. But car brands in a minute are not going to be at the position where they can afford to ban buyers to do that. So they need to sell cars.
Right, so they can do it when you've got COVID. And
when you walked into Land Rover and they looked at you like you were a piece of rubbish.
Yeah.
Like you were buying an Enzo. you wanted a fucking Defender. And they looked at you like, no. You need to be vetted to buy a Land Rover. And now...
You don't think that's going to happen now?
It doesn't happen now.
Because they need the business again.
They need to sell the cars. They don't care who they sell them to. But it's the same in any brand. You know, I see these memes on Rolex dealers and stuff on Instagram. You know, when during COVID, I'd really like to buy a whatever. And
Daytona.
You just see someone like pissing themselves laughing. You know, no chance.
Yeah,
And now all of a
those
sudden
two
it's like,
mafia guys.
yeah,
weren't they?
yeah. Now it's like, hi, Mr. Moore. It's Jeff here from Goldsmiths. Are you still in the market for a Daytona? Oh, really? Oh, you know what, Jeff? No, I'm not. So yeah, no, it's the same. Where, to be fair, what I will say, the only people that have always stuck to that kind of arrogant way throughout good times, bad times, just that is their way, is Ferrari. And you've got to respect that.
Yeah, I kind of do in a through gritted teeth
Yeah,
way.
no, you've got to. You know, that this is us. This is what we do. This is how we're going to treat you. This is how we're going to talk to you. The best is when someone says, I've been invited to do I've been invited to Imola with Ferrari to test drive the new whatever it may be. Oh yeah, it was $7,000. Well, how have you been invited? You haven't been invited to do anything. Like you've
been sold,
yeah,
motherfucker.
Yeah, you bought 3 laps around a track and a steak. You know, you haven't been invited. I don't invite you to my house and then say, Rob, that was 40 quid, mate, what you ate there. You're like, you know, it's not an invite, is it?
No, but they make you believe it is.
Yeah. Oh, I've been invited. I'm premium. Oh, yeah. Sure you are. Okay, mate. They're obviously doing a better job than I am because they're making people feel like they're privileged to part with money. I need to explain to people how privileged I am for them to give their business to me. And all they're doing is making them feel privileged. Like, you know, we're going to let you pay for this.
Is there any car brand that is just way overpriced right now?
I don't think there's a brand. I think there's models.
Most overpriced model.
Most overpriced model. Retail price?
Yeah.
Persang. Ferrari Persang is the most overpriced.
And that's
And it says
350.
nothing about the car. The car is a great car. It's a fantastic car. I know it's actually sometimes it's had bad reviews with, I think Richard Hammond gave the car a bad review, said he didn't like it. Take the price away from you and just drive the car. You can't not like it.
Yeah.
It's an incredible car. But it's not, I mean, I've sold them at £500,000.
Wow.
It's not a £500,000.
What about the Cullinan? I mean, what are they, 400 grand?
Cullinan is a different audience. A Cullinan is for the audience of people who find it funny that they're going to lose 250,000 in a car.
So they're just doing it for shits and giggles.
Yeah. That's what separates them from them.
Super rich from everyone else.
I got clients that they have a new Cullinan every year. Every single year they have a new Cullinan. And the new model just come out. And there's been a big price hike as well. Just new one every year. Why? Because I've always had a new Rolls Royce every year. And I will always continue to have a new, but the last one you've done 1,000 miles in. I've got a client and he's so funny. He's got the best personality. He's the most down-to-earth person with a lot of money you've ever met. The guy is a scream. And first time I done business with him, I bought a Rolls Royce Phantom off of him. And when I went to his house and see the car, I said, why are you selling it? He said, you know what? He said, it's too big. I can't drive it. I've tried. It's not for me. These cars are just not for me. Okay, bought the car. He done like 2,000 miles in it. 6 months later, he's called me back up. Hi, Carl. Hi. I'm going to send you some pictures of a car. Let me know if you're interested. Another Phantom. So I'm like, Dave, you bought another Phantom? Yeah, mate, I bought another Phantom. They're too big. I can't drive it. They're too big. I look like an idiot driving them. The guy's, he's quite a short guy. You know, they're just too big. I can't drive it. Can't park it. I look like a fool. I feel like a fool. I don't want to drive it. Rob, he's done that 5 times. 5 times with the same car. Phantom, every time. And the last car I bought from him was a Cullinan. And he told me it was too big. And I said, Dave, you've done this with 4 Phantoms and a Cullinan. Okay. Why? And then he said to me, I said, why are you selling the Cullinan for? I thought you'd like it. You can get away with it being big because it's an SUV. He's like, because I'm trying to buy this. And it was another Phantom. And I said, are you well? Is there something wrong with you? So he said, mate, look, listen, I work very hard. I work every hour of the day. And I've always had new Rolls Royces. Always. And the minute I don't have a new Rolls Royce, people are going to think I'm skint. Simple as that. And that is what Rolls Royce as a brand brings to the table. So when you say, do you think a Cullinan's overpriced? No.
No, because otherwise those kind of people wouldn't buy it because it'd be too cheap.
If I had the best phone in the world, it would be called the Rolls Royce of phones. You know? If you had the best knife and fork in the world, they call it it's the Rolls Royce of knife and fork. It's a marketing tool to call something. They should trademark it. They probably have. They should do. It is the Rolls Royce. If you was describing something to me and it was the best and you didn't know how to do it, I guarantee you would say it's the Rolls Royce of such and such a thing. So that's what Rolls Royce bring.
Yeah.
When you buy these cars, these supercars, these super SUVs, whatever you want to call them, you're not just buying the car. You're not just buying, that car's 1,000 horsepower. And a lot of the time, people don't drive them. They purely, it's a statement.
Mm.
It's a statement to say, I've just bought my, or it's an accomplishment. You know, it's. I've worked hard this year. I've done really well. I'm going to treat myself to a new Lamborghini. I don't even want one, but I'm going to treat myself to one because I feel like I deserve it for what I've done. We get people like that. You get more people like that than what you get people who lust after owning and driving the car.
Yeah. Yeah, I can relate to that. A lot of the cars I've bought, been an occasion,
It's
reward.
It's been your 40th birthday, to celebrate the sale of a company, to celebrate a great year.
Mm.
You know, you treat
What else
yourself.
are you going to buy?
What else are you going to buy?
Yeah.
And I guarantee, when you earn a lot of money, you always keep a little bit to the side for what I call splurting, right? That's my splurting money. I'm just going to go and buy or do something stupid with that small bit that I've left there because I would have done the deal at this price anyway. That's a Brucey bonus. So I'm going to go and just enjoy it. Listen, it could be go on a mad holiday, buy a car, buy a watch. It could be any of those things.
Mm.
And when you're doing it at the time that this is stupid, the amount of money that this is, and it's just a complete waste. But it's your celebrating doing what you've done.
Mm.
It's your celebration. It's your beer money.
Champagne money.
Yeah, it's your celebrational money.
Yeah.
And recently in the last few years, with YouTube influencers, the money that they're earning, crypto dealers. I don't know. Do you call them a crypto dealer or crypto investors?
Just people who own cryptos. Yeah.
I mean, the money.
That's another thing. They haven't necessarily really grafted for that money. So easier come, easier go.
Yeah, but they've still their knowledge. You can never take anything away from somebody.
No, I agree. They are what they are.
How they've got something.
But people will spend money more frivolously if they didn't really have to graft to earn it. I mean, that's been proven through research.
Yeah. No.
If you remortgaged a house and got 100 grand out, you wouldn't spend that the same way as your 30 years hard-earned savings.
Correct, 100%. But the guy who earned a lot of money in crypto very fast, you can't put it all down to luck. There's an element of luck.
He took the risk when other people wouldn't.
He took a risk when something
Maybe
was
he figured it out.
He took a risk. He probably, invested way more than what he was comfortable investing doing so. So the rewards pay off.
Mm.
And, I mean, fucking hell. Some of the money people have earned is absolutely insane.
Do people come here and buy telling you they've made it in crypto?
Yeah, of course they do, every week.
Right.
And I feel like a massive idiot because I've never been involved with crypto because I'm just an old-fashioned businessman where I like to buy something for £1 and try and sell it for £1.05. Just and do that enough and you'll be okay.
Mm.
And just always take a profit and move on and just keep things rolling. And then you look at these people and it's just a world I don't understand. And I've got so many friends who are saying, Carl, just go and do this, just go and do that, just go and put it in crypto. And I'm like, I can't see it.
Sometimes it's good to stick to what you know, though, isn't it?
I'm a creature of that. I'm a creature of sticking to what I know. I know luxury brands. You know, I can buy and sell luxury brands, low luxury items. I can also, I think I need it to be an item in order to sell it. I'm a good face-to-face person. I like to be one-on-one with somebody and look at them in their eye and talk to them. But if I haven't got an actual item to sell them, what, do you know what I mean? I can't talk them into it.
Yeah.
You can't tell anybody that you guarantee that this is going to go up in value because what you're selling it for. But yeah, I mean, crypto and these YouTubers, these YouTube influencers, people are making millions of pounds playing a computer game and letting other people watch them play a computer game. And these people are kids. They're earning tens of millions of pounds, like ridiculous. And now they're all boxers.
Well,
so now
boxers.
They've got their money. I can't understand this. We've both done boxing in our times, right? It's hard. I mean, there's not many things in life that are harder. Do you agree?
I agree.
So they've made their money. We've made it. Now we want to work really hard at something that we're not going to really make any money out of initially, because only the top influencers are making big money out of boxing, and they are making big money, but others are trying, and they don't need to do it, but they're doing it, and I can't get my head around it. You know?
Yeah.
I've earned all my money being an influencer. Hi guys, today we're going to play the new Fortnite. And you just have a personality and you hit the market at the right time, and all of a sudden you have a subscription and people pay you money, and now you've got millions. I want to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, go jogging now and get my head punched in. Why? For not, I'm earning more money doing something else. Why would you do it? It should be the opposite way around. It should be, I've had to do this for a little bit of money, and I've took that money and now I'm investing it somewhere else, and then I'm growing. I never had it to start off with, and now I've got it, and I've got it that way. But they're doing it backwards. Yeah. Unless you're Jake Paul and he's just everything he touches, by the looks of things, just it doesn't even turn to gold; it turns to Bitcoin.
What is the most underpriced car brand or car?
Well, compared to the rest of the market,
which is how you value price.
Exactly. You've got to say Porsche.
Why?
They're not expensive.
But you just said they don't really do anything for you.
They don't. But the flagship Porsche Turbo S, the leader of the catalogue that a normal person can go and buy, is 190 grand. That's the best they got. Compared to everything else, I've got a Ferrari SUV here for the missus to take the kids to school. And that's their entry level. That's not their top shelf. It's over twice the price.
But you say Porsche is underpriced, but it's your least favourite of the top 4 supercar brands.
Yeah. Still doesn't change the market price. How they're representing in the market. What you get for your money is great. Boring, but it's great. Like it's super fast, super reliable. It's cheap. They're not expensive.
No. Do you sell a lot of Porsches compared to the other brands here?
I sell more Ferrari than everything else.
Yeah.
I mean, at the minute, God, we're like a Ferrari dealership. We've got so many Ferraris, it's unreal.
Yeah.
But that's just what we do most of. Of recent times, we probably do less with Porsche because there's only certain models that fit our criteria of what we buy and sell, or what we can actually make money from, you know?
What couldn't you make money from?
I can't make money from, I can't pay the market price for a Porsche Cayman and sell it at the market price and be able to run a business.
Yeah.
I can't.
Right.
Our overheads are too high.
So you need the top models.
I need the top models. Yeah, I need the top models. So,
you
know, we were looking at all the RS models apart from Spider RS because they're just, no, they're not there for virgins. So then you've got a Turbo S, some of the Carrera GTSs, GT3, GT3 RS, GT2. You know, that's it.
I think we've done 3 of these now, Carl. And we've never talked about Aston Martin, I don't think.
No.
They don't get a mention at all. We haven't talked about it. We've gone all the way around Ferrari, Lamborghini,
Because you only asked me the
Porsche.
top 4. Aston Martin are they're a Tottenham Hotspur. You know? They're a good team.
They look good.
They just, you know, the transition they've moved to Mercedes has been a great move. They make great cars. They're massively overpriced new price, but then they become massively underpriced used price. Who would think you can buy a relatively new 2018 6-litre V12 absolute monster of a car,
700 horsepower.
700 and odd horsepower for low hundreds? Like,
Yeah.
it's bad. But it was 330 new. It's too much money.
Even Aston Martin, I have a DBS.
Yep.
It was 300 odd over list.
Yep.
I paid 130, high 130s for it.
Mm-hmm.
Even Aston Martin are telling me about the DB, was it 12? And then is it the Vanquish on top? And even they're saying, too much money. Wait 3 years. Even Aston Martin are telling me that.
I know.
How have that surely something is wrong about that.
Well, I don't think we appreciate Aston Martin as much as we should in this country because it's grown and made in this country. Other countries love British made. You know, they still look at Bentley as British made, even though 95% of it is made in Germany and sent over in an IKEA pack to crew and they're just put together.
Yeah.
But Aston Martin is, you know, apart from the engine now, is British made, and people love that British made. Americans absolutely love it. You know, Middle East love Aston Martin. They appreciate Aston Martin.
So do you think a lot of overseas people are paying the new price then? And us Brits are buying them half price?
I would, though I don't know this for sure, but I would bet that used car prices of Aston Martin in the UK are the lowest in the world.
Wow.
Because we have access to them.
Yeah.
It's not a delicacy.
No.
You know, they made up the road. You know,
Yeah.
And we expect
they feel.
When was the last time you described something to somebody who was British and described it as, oh, it's British made?
Well, nothing really fucking is anymore.
No, nothing
we
really
sold
is,
everything.
But we still look upon Aston Martin as it's handmade in England. You know, but that doesn't appeal to us because we're English.
Yeah.
But if you're from the Middle East, you want that.
Yeah.
You know, if you're from the States, cars in the States lack quality. They have no quality amongst their cars. They have big engines, big cars. There's no class. There's no quality.
Yeah.
So when they get an Aston Martin, it's a delicacy. It's like, wow, feel the leather, feel how. But we're used to it.
Yeah.
We were brought up on that. That's because it's Aston Martin.
Do you sell many Aston Martins?
Yeah, I don't sell like loads. It wouldn't be in our top 4 brands. But we do sell. I mean, we've got an Aston Martin V8 Vantage F1 edition. We've got an Aston Martin DBS. We've got a 707 DBX. So we've always got a few. We've got an old classic DBS, which is in the same color as what was that famous program? Was it the Proclaimers or the TV show? The Persuaders.
Right.
Proclaimers are a band.
Yeah, I didn't want to make you look silly, but
The Persuaders. They had this mustard yellow V8 DBS Aston Martin.
Yeah,
we have the same car.
Oh wow!
So, and you know, upstairs we've got a couple of classic Aston Martins.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, we do enough with them.
Yeah.
It's not on my list of cars I would lust after.
No.
It's on a list of cars I appreciate the value of.
Yeah.
You know, I look at a DBS, I think, oof.
I mean, DBS. I mean, name me a car that looks better for under 200 grand. Name me a car with all that power and the sound under 200 grand.
Well, an 812 Superfast.
They're under 200 grand. Are they dropping then?
They've dropped. but they're still
They
nearly.
don't look better.
But
No, they don't look better than a DBS. Nah. That black DBS you've got in there, that's as stealth as... That's
to be
only
fair,
that is stealthier.
To be fair, the front end of a DBS with no number plate. Have you got number plate on yours?
I have, unfortunately, because I abide, but I feel like...
What happens if it fell off?
Well, yeah, I suppose maybe if you just left I think you said to me, leave the 2 screws on. Yeah, it just fell off.
It fell off.
Yeah.
Fuck it again.
Without the plate, it looks amazing.
Yeah.
Here's the test, I think, of how great a car looks. Men love it and women love it.
You know what?
Women love that. I'm not saying, women love as in, but like the Aventador or the Revuelto, women don't like those. Men do. Women don't really like your Uruses. Men do. Women love the DBS and men love the DBS.
Because it's classy, isn't it?
It's curvy.
Yeah, it's classy. Yeah. But, you know, I also kind of look for cars. They appeal to me when when they're really not, people don't like them. You know? I love that Cullinan. It's the most vulgar thing I've ever seen. I think it's amazing. Like, that's right up my street.
So you'd love something even if it looks shit?
I'm not saying it looks shit. I'm saying
no, I know
vulgar.
You didn't say that, but you said you love things that other people don't love.
Yeah.
So basically, generally, something that other people don't love in a car is probably going to be because it looks shit.
Well, a lot of people frown upon certain cars, like an Aventador SV or an SVJ or even an Aventador. You'll get a lot of comments about people going, "Oh, what a stupid car! Look how low it is, and look how the doors go up, and it's just totally impractical." They are called Porsche owners. So they're the kind of cars that I love, and that's why I really don't like Porsche. I've never heard anyone say I hate Porsche, apart from me. Everyone loves it. It's boring.
The GT.
Imagine being somewhere and then leaving and someone going, "Hey, a guy was in here a minute ago in the most vulgar thing I've ever seen." Well, they're talking about me.
Why do you need people talking about you?
It creates conversation. It creates something. Oh, yeah. Oh, I know the guy that owns that car. He's a supercar dealer. Oh, is he? Yeah, it's his website. Here, look. There you go.
All right, so on that note...
You pull up in a Carrera, the guy don't even know you're there, don't want to know your name, doesn't want to talk to you, has no interest in you whatsoever. You pull up in a Revuelto, a Cullinan, something like that, people, they think, who is he? What does he do? Where does he live? Why is he here? You never know who you might talk to.
Mm. On that note, what do you think of the Jaguar rebrand?
Oh my God.
Don't hold back. What do you think?
I can't give my views.
Yes, you can.
No, I can't.
Of course you can. You don't. How many? You got one Jag here, have you?
I know. All it's going to do is the classic Jaguars that I've got, or real Jaguars, is going to push the price up because people will remember this incredible car brand with incredible history.
Before.
And you have fucked it. Like, absolutely destroyed it. Keir Starmer's going to drive a Jag.
Nigel Farage said...
he will not drive a Jag.
He said that will make the brand go bust.
100%. Well, can it go bust as part of JLR? What they lose in Jaguar, they'll make in Land Rover.
But have they just committed suicide to their brand?
I don't understand. It's kind of like I just don't. I don't understand. I need someone. I don't get it. I need someone to explain to me why we've done this.
But you like things that are different, and we're talking about it, and you like conversation starters.
No, but that's not the conversation I want to be involved in. Definitely not. Definitely not.
So give us some words to describe what you think.
Well, I mean, it's just so. It's basically. I don't care about people's views and opinions. We all have. They're like arseholes. Everyone's got one, and that's just the way it is. But if I was going to say what the biggest problem in the way the world has gone, it would be these erratic left-winged people who think it's okay for a child to be a cat if it wants to be. They're the same people that are behind the Jaguar rebranding. And like, I'm just not part of that world.
It's 100-year-old British
Sacrilege.
car brand.
It's absolutely disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting what they've done with that brand. And they're full electric?
I don't know.
I bet they are. They will be, obviously, won't they?
Well, yeah, I mean, their concepts are, but they brought out that concept in the Barbie pink, didn't they?
I mean, look, if you want to drive a pink car, great. Buy a pink Cullinan, a pink Lamborghini, a pink Ferrari. Make a statement if that's what you want to do. Fine. Nothing wrong with the color. Don't care about the color. Yanni, friend of mine, just wrapped his Revolto in pink for his little girl. I thought that was the coolest thing ever.
Yeah.
You know, absolutely wonderful. My wife, when we first got married, I bought her a pink Range Rover. It wasn't pink. I wrapped it in matte pink.
Yeah.
15 years ago. It's cool. Color's no problem. It's what they're saying is behind the brand and what the brand now represents and means. Look at all the racing drivers that have had motorsport success in Jaguars and the great cars. You know, the Steve McQueen used to own Jaguars, the coolest person to ever walk the earth. And now look what they've done. Steve McQueen was a alcoholic, drug abuser, serial shagger, the coolest person to ever walk the earth. Movie star, absolute like legend of a person. And probably the most famous car he had was a Jaguar that he made famous. And the XKSS. Those cars are into 10 million plus. And everyone wants to be Steve McQueen. Who's going to drive a Jaguar now? And you can't rebrand and change the badge on something. You know, hopefully, well, not hopefully, but eventually, people say to me all the time, Carl, what's the next step in your business? Obviously, your dad's getting older. He's so involved in the business still, like really, but obviously he's getting older. My son is coming up and my daughters are getting older. Like, do I want them in the business? Yeah, of course I'd like them in the business. I'd love them to carry on the family business. What will it be called? Well, it will always be called Tom Hartley forever and ever and ever. Because that's the brand name. That's what it is. Coca-Cola isn't called Warren Buffett. It's called Coca-Cola. That brand with the line underneath it, underlined as that's how important it is, that will always be this brand. It will never be called Carl Hartley, Hartley's, or Hartley and Son. It will just be called Tom Hartley. Even when there won't be a Tom Hartley one day, it will still be called Tom Hartley. Because it's the respect that you must have for a brand. They've completely disrespected an incredible brand in Jaguar.
What currently is the easiest car to steal?
Well, with prices dropping the way they are, no one really wants to steal cars anymore. I think Land Rover have sorted themselves out.
Really?
Yeah.
Because the viral video from your dad when we came here.
I know.
With Range Rovers being nicked everywhere.
They were doing like 100 a day or something.
Yeah.
Like inner London was ridiculous. I'm not a car thief, so I can't tell you what the easiest car to steal is. But I know Land Rover were, because it was just a fault that they had. But I think they've overcome it now. But they're still probably the hardest car to insure.
Because of the theft?
Yeah.
Right.
Yep. I think you could insure a Cullinan for less money you can insure a Land Rover for.
Yeah.
I think you can insure a Cullinan for less money you can insure a Range Rover for. And it's 4 times the price.
A Range Rover is more expensive to insure than a 4 times the price Rolls-Royce Cullinan.
Yep, a Range Rover.
So I just had to think about that.
A Range Rover costs more to insure than a Rolls-Royce Cullinan, which is 4 times the price, and a Lamborghini Revolto. It's still there. People are getting quotes in London, inside the M25, for 20 grand.
20 grand to insure a Range Rover.
And the cars are not allowed to be left outside. Well, who has got an inside parking in central London, in Chelsea? Who has parking?
And they're not as easy to nick as they were.
And they're not as...
They must be.
Land Rover, to stop this, because people weren't buying the cars because they couldn't get insured. It wasn't that they didn't want to buy them. It was the fact that they couldn't buy them because they couldn't get insured. So Land Rover teamed up with an insurance company that was called Land Rover Insurance. And even they were refusing to insure certain Land Rovers. You couldn't insure a Range Rover Sport SVR through Land Rover. They'd say, no, we don't insure it.
Do you know what that makes me think of? Porsche won't take Porsche Taycans, will they?
No, but who would?
Well, Porsche, because they made them.
But that's why the prices have hemorrhaged. To keep the price up on your brand, you need to buy back your brand. Ferrari have done it for years. They don't do it anymore because they don't need to buy it. Sale or return is such a big thing now that they don't need to buy cars back. Ferrari have always reinvested in their product.
But Porsche will take back a 911, but they will refuse to take back a Taycan.
Yeah. That's why a brand new Taycan today costs 140,000 and is worth 65.
I've seen Porsche Taycan Turbo S's in the 50s.
Yeah.
So much
I'm on about new cars though. I'm on about like a brand new car today is worth 50% of its value.
You could get...
I wouldn't want it, by the way, at 50% of its value, but it would make 50% of its value.
So you're say that again. So you're saying you can get that new at that price?
Yeah.
You can buy it a 50% discount from list?
Yep.
Well, then that says everything about how wrong it is. Mm-hmm. But they're that low, I almost feel like...
Have you heard what Porsche are doing now as well?
Go on then.
Their electric cars, they're putting engines in them. So they're still going to make the Taycan with an engine.
Isn't that called a Panamera?
Yes. But they got to still call it a Taycan.
What, because they fucked it so bad?
Well, just because, like, we don't have to go electric anymore. People who think that this is going to happen are deluded. It's not going to happen. We are not going electric.
So we asked at the start of this show, what's the biggest scam in the car industry? Well, is electric the biggest scam in the car?
By far, the 2030, all new cars have got to be electric, was by far, in my lifetime, the biggest scam I've seen in the car industry.
Wow. Why?
Just because it's like me saying by 2030, I'm going to be the world's best basketball player. Like it's physically.
And you're not 6'5".
I'm 5'6". And I'm thick end of 40. Like it's the infrastructure. Number one it won't be there. We will never see in our lifetime this planet geared up to have everybody in an electric car.
So we've been mugged off on another level then.
Well, if you're a Taycan owner, you have been. Because you bought into it.
Because you've bought into...
Greta Thunberg.
Yeah. The story of how it's good for the planet, but also...
But number one, it's not good for the planet, is it?
No.
When you look at how
much
these
energy
things are mined...
How much energy it takes to make.
It's just ridiculous. I mean, and by the way, I didn't know this going into the whole world's going to be electric. But all of a sudden you look at things, you go, right, I need to learn about this now. This is what I'm going to be selling soon. If it's going to be 2030, it's around the corner. Then you look and you think, this has got absolutely no sustainability at all whatsoever. This is not going to happen. I'm not even worried about this.
No. But
People say, what are you going to do? I'm going to continue selling V12s and V8s. That's exactly what I'm going to do.
And then there was also the having the tax breaks, and now they're putting tax on them. So suckered a load of people to buy them in the company.
Yeah. And look, there was a scheme there that did get you off initially, and there was a small window of time where you could buy an electric car, run it through your company, and sell it for not that big of a loss, and your loss was set off against your tax, and it worked.
But that was through COVID when car prices were going like that.
Yeah, now it's completely fucked.
They're so cheap, though. I'm almost thinking of getting a Taycan for a daily.
No.
And to not even have to sell it, because people say,
don't care.
Oh, the life...
We can't be friends if you drive an electric car. That's my policy with me. None of my friends have electric cars.
That's quite judgmental.
No, it's not.
It is.
No, it's not.
So if I got a Jaguar and a Taycan, a new Jaguar with the woke branding and a Taycan, we're no longer friends.
I would abuse you so bad you wouldn't want to be my friend. if you were a sticker and you wanted to grind it out and take the abuse, then
You'd enjoy abusing me.
That's fine. I'd want to talk to you. I'd have a bad day and think I'm going to call Rob up and abuse him for a bit.
But they're so fucking cheap now.
Don't care.
Just get it as a runaround and then never have to sell it.
Don't care.
What do you hate about electric cars so much?
The whole lifestyle. The whole lifestyle of owning an electric car. Think about it. You wake up in the morning, you unplug your car. God, all of a sudden, I'm less of a person already. I've not even started my day yet. I get in my car that has no noise. For God's sake. Then I'm monitoring all the time. Oh, how much electric do I have left? My God. Then you get to work and you've got your own car parking space for people with electric cars. All of a sudden, people look down on you because you're you park over there, we're going to park over here. And then you got to go and face all your work colleagues in your electric car. You can't do it, mate. Definitely. We can't do that.
Okay. I'm sold or unsold. What about hybrid?
Hybrids are a happy medium. I think we're going to have to get used to hybrid, where cars are going to be hybrid.
Because that's how you increase the performance, I guess.
Yep, that's the only way. I mean, unless you're going to start sticking, V16 engines in cars and 9 liters, and which the rules of the planet is we can't do that anymore.
Yeah.
So the only way you can get because cars now, they're not just 1,000 horsepower. There's loads of cars 1,000 horsepower. When I had my Bugatti, I had the only car with 1,000 horsepower. Now, Rivolto, 1,000 horsepower, SF90, 1,000 horsepower. There's a 296 is 800 horsepower. There's a V6. So it's a way of getting these 2,000 horsepower cars out there with 4 motors on each wheel and, getting the performance. So that is what it is. As long as they just prioritize the exhaust sound.
Which a lot of them haven't.
A lot of them haven't, but they are starting to.
Right.
A 296 sounds better than an SF90.
Does it?
Yeah.
Yeah. It came out later, did it?
Came out later.
Yeah.
SF90 just lacks a bit. I mean, it's not like a dead quiet car, but it needs a bit more grunt. 296 has got it.
Because I remember way back years ago, I had the 458 and we drove the 488 and it sounded worse. Yeah, it didn't feel like an upgrade.
Yeah, because it was a turbo. So
right,
the power came from the turbos. Yeah. I like the sound of turbos. You see,
but you can have, my DBS has turbos in the front at 700 horsepower, V12 sounds epic.
Yeah, well, the Pagani had you very rarely really heard the exhaust note from the Pagani. You just heard this whining and sucking and blowing of the turbos. And
if that's the focus of the sound, it's a scream almost, isn't it?
I don't care what noise your car makes; it needs to make a noise. It needs to make a noise. Yeah. And what is worse, by the way, are these people who buy electric cars and pay an extra for there to be a noise that come out a speaker inside the car so people can pretend that their car's making a noise. That's sad. They're deluded people.
So do you most love V12? Is that still your...
Yeah, I do love a V12. Yeah. The noise that a V10 would make is probably the best noise.
Is it?
Yeah. Yeah. A V8 noise is great, but a V10 screams.
Right.
So a V8's got a grunt.
Yeah.
A V12 has this quite deep noted, smooth noise.
Yeah.
It's not aggressive. A V8's aggressive.
Yeah.
V12 isn't aggressive. But a V10 is a screamer.
Yeah.
An absolute screamer. That thing howls at you.
Yeah.
Carrera GT. One of the best sounding cars in the world ever.
Yeah. And a Porsche.
Which one? The Carrera GT?
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's when there was a proper Porsche. And it's not a normal Porsche, is it?
Right.
It's a Carrera GT.
Yeah.
I've never heard anyone describe a Carrera GT as a Porsche Carrera GT.
No, they take the Porsche off.
It's a Carrera GT.
It's like GTR. They don't say Nissan GTR. They say GTR because they don't want to admit it's a Nissan.
That car is... But there's only 3 cars in the world that I'm scared of that I've driven.
And
that's definitely one of them.
So the Carrera GT, what else?
An F40. An F40, oh my God. So it's turbo, twin turbo V8. But when turbos weren't, they weren't at the level of sophistication where they are now.
So you don't know when they're going to kick in.
If there's such thing as a raw turbo, that was an F40.
Yeah.
You don't know when they're going to kick in. They're so inconsistent.
Yeah.
You have the car at 4,000 or 5,000 revs, and there's no turbo. Or then you have the car at 2,000 revs when you're going around a corner, and all of a sudden the turbo wants to kick in and you're facing the wrong direction. So that's and a Carrera GT is very, very similar to that. And the other one's a P1.
Scary.
Yeah.
Why scary? You'd think it'd have all the tech.
I said once, I was driving a P1 and I had my guy set up some cameras, and there's only me in the car, and I'm just trying to create some content. And I was in a P1, one of the first ones that I'd driven, and that's got a loud turbo noise as well. Yeah. And I said, "Oh my God!" I said, "This car drives like you've smacked its kids and shagged its wife." That's what it drives like. Like it drives like it wants to really hurt you. But that's like the coolest thing in the world.
Yeah.
You drive a Porsche Turbo S or a GT2 RS, and they're so good. You're in absolutely no danger in that car. Mm. You go around the corner as fast as you want, which is impressive, by the way.
Yeah.
Just don't do it for me.
Yeah. But that you have to handle with care.
And then when you fire out accusations at me, like I want to buy a Porsche Taycan electric, you can imagine the red mist that comes up. Three. That's the three things that you don't like cars at all if you drive an electric Porsche. You're not a car man. You need a car to get from A to B, and you don't understand. So you buy that.
Okay. But remember, we had a conversation about value, and it's linked to price. Mm-hmm. 20 grand, would you buy a Porsche Taycan?
I wouldn't use a Porsche Taycan if you gave it to me. And I'm serious. Doesn't matter.
What about the Audi RS e-tron, the GT?
Same. It's a Taycan with an Audi badge. Definitely not.
I think I'm believing you now.
Definitely
That's
not.
All right. Have you ever refused a client? If you had to blacklist a client, refused to sell cars to anyone?
No, but recently, I've got a bit of a history with one client in particular, where he's never actually been a client. He's agreed 4 deals, and every time he's took it all the way down the line and then reneged on the deal at the last second every time. Guy's got cars. He is a car client. For some reason, I just cannot do business with him. Now, I'm a very respectful, well-mannered person when I'm talking to somebody. I give everyone the time of day. I don't care if you're walking in a tracksuit or a Tom Ford suit. I don't care. It's absolutely irrelevant to me. I can tell if you're genuine or not. The guy's a genuine guy. There's no getting away from that. But I just can't do business with him. And he messaged me the other day, interested in a car that I have. And I was extremely rude to him. Very one answer words. Yes, no. Yes, no. And he said he gave me a message like, "Oh, thanks for being so polite, Carl," or something like that. And I said, "Look, we're not going to do business. I'm not having you waste any more of my time. I will start being polite to you when you start respecting me. I haven't blacklisted him. If he wants to come and buy a car from me, he's more than welcome to. But he won't get any respect from me in the way I speak to him or treat him until he buys a car. And then when he does, he has some making up to do. But he can still buy a car. That's fine. But my time is valuable, and he hasn't wasted it once or twice, 4 times.
Why did you give him the 3rd and the 4th chance?
Because I'm not here to make friends. I'm here to do business. And I think you're an idiot to blacklist somebody from anything. If you've got a product, how foolish are you to pick and choose who you want to sell your product to? I don't care. This isn't about doing business. This is about him disrespecting me, so I am returning the favor. That's all it is. Mm. It's not about cars. It's not about business. He would be the only person that I would think, not that I ever would blacklist anybody, but he would be the only person who he's close. He's knocking on the door.
So if he does it once more, that might be it.
No, because I'm not going to put myself in a position where I will care. Hi, Carl, can I buy this car that you've got? Yes. Is there a deal? No. To you, there's a deal. To him, there's a deal. To him, there's no deal. No. Thanks for being so polite. You start showing me respect, I'll show you respect. Simple as that. So, yes, he can buy it, but he's not going to get to the point again where he drags me down the line and we comes down and we shake hands and we tea and coffee and we do this and we do that. And then he just turns around and goes, oh, you know what, Carl? I got to the point, I sold this guy a car and we celebrated. It was an expensive car. We celebrated.
What was it?
A Bugatti.
Yeah.
We opened a bottle of champagne in his house. We celebrated. The next day, he was supposed to come down and bring one of his cars. I was taking him 3 or 4 cars in part exchange, taking him one of his cars that I was taking in part exchange. And he just called me up and he said, sorry, Carl, I've bought another car elsewhere. And he did. He bought another Veyron elsewhere. So I said, what was all that about yesterday? Then I thought, you know what? He is a customer. It maybe just be one of them things. I don't know. But then when that happens another 3 times, another time he bought a very rare Ferrari from me, an F12 TDF. And he bought the car and I said to him on the phone, I said, look, we've got some making up to do because of the way you treated me on the last 2 deals. Carl, listen, just the circumstances. I promise, mate, blah, blah, blah. I won't do this again. Came to the showroom. The car was like delivery mileage. We agreed a price. I agreed a price with him that I couldn't afford to take just to prove that he wouldn't have the car. So I thought, I will call your bluff and I will see if you are an absolute waste of time. And I said, okay, do you want to have that deal? Yeah. If you want to have that deal, if you come down tomorrow, you can have that deal. I'm thinking I'm losing a lot of money taking this price. He ain't going to have it. You come down, guess what? He didn't have it. So I then told him, I said, look, there's the door. I'll see you later. If he wants to come back, he's more than welcome. I'll welcome him with open arms, but it won't be a case of, you won't waste my time anymore.
Yeah.
I just, it's just disrespectful. We get a lot of calls of people who are time wasters. And I'm sure it's not just us. I'm sure it's everybody. Yeah. And sometimes I scratch my head and they send their bank statements to finance companies and they do all this kind of stuff. And they've got absolutely no intention whatsoever of buying a car.
How do you spot a time waster?
It's hard sometimes, It's hard. The biggest trait for me to spot a time waster is when someone calls up and goes, oh, hi, you've got an Aston Martin Vanquish there. I'd like to come down and have a test drive. Well, you're a time waster. That's the last thing you ask when you buy a car. I would say out of 10 cars that we sell, which we will sell 10 cars a week, out of 10 cars that we sell, no more than 2 people ask to drive the car. And that's literally the last thing they ask. Okay, Carl, before I give you a deposit for this car, do you mind if we just go up the road in it? Yeah, of course, no problem. They've asked every question beforehand. They've seen the car. They've agreed to buy the car. Just before I do, can we go for a spin? Yeah, of course, no problem. Or I'll even offer, like the guy that I was told you about recently who bought the orange Lamborghini Sterato. He came to buy a Rolls-Royce Dawn. Came here, didn't like the Dawn. Carl, I'm going to think about it. I'll go home. I'll speak to you tomorrow. Brought him downstairs where we are now. Had a Lamborghini Sterato there. He looked at it and said, that's a mad car that is. Like, what is it? So I told him. I said, that drive's incredible. You should drive it. Oh, no, I don't want to drive it. I want you to drive it. Come out with me. I want you to drive it. We got a mile up the road and he went, I'll have it. Simple as that.
Yeah.
So I offer test drives. But if someone comes to me and the first thing they say is, I want a test drive, you just, this guy, can I come and test drive it on Saturday? Okay. Yes, mate. We're just Dalton Towers on a Saturday.
Yeah.
Just come and test. Anything else you want to test drive? Yeah, But, you know, you'd be amazed how, and I scratch my head sometimes because the length some people go to pretend that they're buying a car is, I mean, I don't know how much time they have on their hands. Unbelievable how much time I'll say to my salesman sometimes, or I'll say to my dad and we'll talk about it, and I'll go, this man's a complete waste of time. And we're always I've always been brought up that you can never judge a book by its cover, ever. So you never know.
Yeah.
And because we sort of play into it a bit, that you never know, we would give them more time than most would. Like the story when I sold the 10-year-old kid the Lamborghini Urus.
Yeah.
And when they picked it up, the family bought the Chiron
Yeah.
the same day.
Yeah.
Like, nobody gives that kid the time of day. I do. So we probably get more time wasters than most, but we're just waiting on that one person. That one scenario where someone, you know what? They weren't wasting time. They weren't a time waster. Okay, the other 100 were, but they weren't.
Yeah. So you've got a bar up there.
Yeah.
So do you ever close deals having drinks? Have you ever had a bit of a party here and all of a sudden you sold 5 fucking cars?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So literally, the guy I just said about the Lamborghini Starato. So, okay, let me rewind back. This is 3 weeks ago. 3 weeks ago, it was a Saturday. It was a Friday. It was a Friday. And, you know, weekends are really busy for us. And I had some clients come in. Rob, our salesman, had some clients come in. There was the classic car show on at the NEC. So I had customers that were there and they wanted to call in on the way back just to have a coffee or whatever. So we've had 3 lots of clients turn up, 2 lots of existing clients added to them that have turned up just to come for a coffee. So one guy's turned up, he's interested in a Rolls-Royce Dawn. He's seen the Dawn, drove it, he's not sure. He doesn't like it. He doesn't know if he likes it, he's not sure. Talking to one of his friend told me that he's the most impulsive person. Like, he dropped his Range Rover off at Land Rover, walked across to Aston Martin for a coffee and bought a DBS whilst he was there. Like, he's that kind of person. I'm like, you're right, you're my kind of person. So he's looking at this, but they've come down, there's 4 of them together. They've come down and they're looking at the car, and I offered him a test drive in the Lamborghini Starato. I thought, this guy's come today to buy something. I just need to, he was a bit introverted. He was just, didn't really let himself go too much. He was quite conscious he was a bit nervous, I think, really. He'd followed us for a long time. He'd seen our old adverts, 20 years ago. And he first time here, he was a bit taken back. And he didn't know what to do. He was a bit unsure. So I said, look, come up to the bar. I said, let's have a chat. Go to the bar. I said, do you want a beer or anything? So he said, no. He said, I'm okay. So his mate said to him, look, you have a beer. I'm driving. Have a beer if you want. Okay, no problem. In the meantime, 2 more clients came that have been to the classic car show. And one guy left me a deposit on a Jaguar E-Type that we had, or a Porsche 930 Targa that we had, 2 classic cars. He said, Carl, I don't know which one I want. So when I come there, can I decide on the day? There's $5,000 deposit. I'll decide on the day. Okay, no problem. In the meantime, 2 more customers have just arrived. They've just arrived just to come, and they've been to the classic car show. They've said it's okay for us to come. I know them anyway. They've come. The guy who was nervous, he's let his hair down now. Bit of music on, had a few beers. The guys from Scotland, they've just flown in. They've done half a bottle of whiskey in 20 minutes. Like, I mean, unbelievable. I've never seen. In the end, I just give them the bottle. I said, lads, I don't know how much to pour you. Like, I'm pouring you a double, and you're giving it back to me. So there's the bottle. You 2 just crack on. These other 2 guys come, few beers, few ciders. It's now Friday afternoon. It's 5:00. This guy in the Starato said, look, Carl, I don't know if I want the Dawn. The Dawn and the Lamborghini. The Lamborghini's twice the price. It's hard. I need 4 seats. It's got 2 seats. I don't even know what it is. Fuck it, I'll have it. So his mates turned around, and they were all having a good time. And he said, thank God for that. He said, you took a long time. He said, I know. He said, I was a bit unsure. He said, look, I didn't want to spoil your day because it's your day today. He said, but Carl, how much is the F8 downstairs, the Ferrari F8? So it says 205. He said, would you do it for 200? I'd do it for 203. Okay, done. I'll have that as well. The guy who's coming, who's knocking back the whiskey, who's looking at each classic car, has gone, I don't know which one to have here. That the Jaguar, I've always wanted one, but the Porsche I can use more. I don't know which one to have. Fuck it, I'll have both. The bar was on wheels. I'm telling you, there was 12 people there. Rob had finished work. He was having a drink. I was having a drink. There was 8, 9 guys there as well. Music on. They're looking at cars. Then his mates called FaceTime. He said, I'm interested in the Aston Martin they got. He's FaceTime the thing. He said, Carl, he's going to call you with a deposit for that. We sold 9 cars that day. Sold 9 cars that day.
And at a party.
And had a great time.
Yeah.
It was a great time. I mean, there was the inconvenience of like taking payment on card machine and stuff.
Oh, so
Do you know what I mean?
first world problems.
It was so long. But no, it was a good day. But we have days like that. And that's the feel that we give people here. You're not walking. The feel that the guy had when he walked in we bought the Lamborghini, he was a bit taken back by when someone follows you for so long, they feel like they know you. And then when they meet you, it's kind of like they're a bit taken back, I find. And he was taken back by the whole place and the company and the fact that he's here. And he just, not that he needed persuading or pushing into one thing or another. He just needed to relax. And I knew that.
Yeah.
I know this guy, he needs to relax for a second. He wants to have a good time. He wants to spend some money. He wants to buy a car. But they bought 3 cars between the 4 of them.
Yeah.
Just gives you that feel, that feel of, just let your head, have a nice time. I say this all the time. Money's hard enough to earn, and sometimes it's not fun. So when you want to spend it, you want to have fun spending it.
And 9 cars in one day, average 200, 300 grand a car?
Yeah.
I mean, that's a 2-3 million pound day.
Yeah.
Is that the most cars you've sold in a day, 9?
No.
How many have you sold in a day?
14.
14. Average price?
So
roughly?
7 to one person.
7 to one person.
Yeah. He came to buy a Jaguar E-Type that was 120 grand.
Yeah.
He bought an F40, an Enzo. I can't even remember what the cars he bought, but what I'm saying is he came to buy a 130 grand car and he walked away spending about 5 million quid. And by the way, at the time, an F40 and an Enzo weren't like a lot of money. An Enzo was just over $1 million.
Yeah.
An F40 was about $500,000.
Wow. Did you know he had that kind of money?
No, not at all.
No,
not at all.
Do you ever still get surprised? Someone comes and they just chuck the money out and you just didn't know where that came from?
No, not at all. Never judge a book by its cover.
No.
And the people with the most money are those unassuming people.
Yeah.
I get more skeptical of someone who walks in with their Dolce & Gabbana suit on and their shiny shoes and their shirt done up like they're going to the Oscars for the day, rather than someone who, just walks in, dressed casual.
Yeah.
For them, it's another day.
Yeah.
Oh, on my way back, I might just go and spend $1 million quid on a car. They're the people with the most money.
Yeah.
The people who come like, oh, today, getting dressed up, this is once in a lifetime, or I need to look like.
Yeah, impress.
I need to look like I can afford this car. You don't need to look like you can afford a car.
No.
You either can or you can't. And if you can, you won't spend money in a better place than here. You won't have more fun doing it anywhere else. If you can't, don't waste my time, because there's somebody out there who can that I'm not seeing because I've given my time to you.
Yeah. And so 14 cars in one day, rough value of all those cars?
Rough value now, I mean, it was the best day he's ever had in his life. Every car he bought is absolutely rocketed.
Right.
Absolutely rocketed.
Yeah.
And I think he's still got most of them.
Right.
Testarossa, F40, Enzo, E-Type, Porsche 356 Speedster. Coming back to me now. I think he bought 1 or 2 modern things that wouldn't have been great investments, but the Enzo paid for all the loss in everything else. Plus the F40, plus everything else.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they're good days. Not every day's a good day.
No.
But you get good days.
Yeah. What's a secret you've never shared or a story you've never told?
Well, there was a story a minute ago that my valeter said to you about when we were in a serious altercation that time. But you know what? I can barely even really remember that story. It just must be a common thing with me. Yeah. I was saying to him, I can't remember that, but I can vaguely remember. But a story that I've never told. I recently done a golf thing. So 2 of my friends, one is an ex-world champion boxer, and the other one is a very successful musician, Rudimental. and Tony Bellew. We recently done. They have this golf channel on YouTube. Lock and Tea is called. They're a scream, them two. When you get them together, they're chalk and cheese, but they're an absolute scream. And I was introduced to Lockie about 12 months ago, and it wasn't until later on he said to me, he said, "Fuck me," he said, "I know where I've seen you before." He said, when we first met, I thought, "I know you. I don't know where I know you from." He got it up on his phone. He went, "That's you, isn't it?" And it was the meme of me in the Bugatti. I said, yeah, that's me. He said, "Fuck," he said, "I sent that everywhere." So yeah, that was a
Tell that one more time.
Oh, when I got pulled over in the Veyron. Yeah. So the first day I bought it. Wasn't the first day I bought it. I bought it in Vienna, drove it to Munich, got it shipped back. It's been serviced. I've had it for 3 months at this point. It's in London, but I've never driven it. Picked it up from HRO in service, me and my wife, and we're driving into London. Like it's like the first day you've bought it, you know. So it's a special kind of day, you know, I'm buzzing. So drove from North London, Acton, driving into Knightsbridge, Hyde Park corner, just a traffic jam. Anyway, police sirens going mad. So I'm not taking any notice because we're all in traffic. So is it an ambulance? Is it the police? You know, we don't know, whatever. Police got behind me. Everyone's moving out the way. I've moved out the way and he's moved behind me. Pull over, like, okay, no problem. So I followed him, got off of Hyde Park corner, parked on the left. So my wife's going, like, "What have you done now?" So I'm like, "I don't know. I don't think I've done anything." So, but it pissed me off because I didn't do anything. Like normally I'd be doing something, but this time I wasn't doing anything. So, I was being a prick. Because when I'm right, I'm right. And when I'm wrong, I'm wrong. And I'm the first to say when I'm wrong. And I will apologize to the cows come home. "I'm sorry, sir. Yes, sir. No, sir. 3 bags full, sir." But when I'm right, fuck you. I'm right. I've done nothing. So the guy's come to the window. He knocked on the window. He said, "Do you know why I've pulled you over?" And I said, "Yeah, because I let you." But I never told this story. What happened was a Veyron has been pulled over on Hyde Park corner by 2 police cars, and the car spotters are going berserk. Like they're like rats. They're coming out of every nook and cranny they can possibly, and I'm surrounded by hundreds of people, and somebody overheard it. And when I said it, my wife was like, "Oh." And someone overheard it, and then later on that day, somebody posted it, and that just went. I can't remember whoever the first person was. That has been reposted millions of times. But I knew it wasn't wrong. And then I said to the guy, I said, "Look, I'm under arrest." "No." "Okay. Well, I'm going to Harrods, so we can continue this conversation in Harrods if you want, but that's where I'm going. So you can't leave." "Okay." And just left.
And he didn't follow you?
He didn't follow me.
Just let you go?
What? I'd never done anything.
So do you think he just wanted to look at the car?
I think because this was in 2016 probably. So in 2016, I looked a lot younger than I do now. And he probably thought there is a child driving a Bugatti. I need to figure out what's going on here.
Yeah.
And then he had my license, he had my registration documents, he had my insurance documents. What else can I provide you apart from a blood sample? You know, what do you want?
Yeah.
And I bet I was at the side of the road for an hour until I just got to the point where I was like, "No, you're not spoiling my day. I'm going. We can continue this in Harrods if you want. I'm going to Harrods." I got in the car and drove off, and like my wife was like, "Oh my God, are we going to take a police chase now?" I'm like, No, I don't. I'm looking in the mirror like, no, it's fine. He said it's okay to leave. So yeah, that was a fun, but it just shows, you know, how something as unplanned, you couldn't recreate that.
No.
You know, how something unplanned could just split second and it could just explode.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It still goes around Facebook now. 8 years ago.
Well, I think a lot of people, I thought it was a chase. You know, the way it was all.
Yeah. Well, the angle that the picture was taken, you can't see that it's just outside of a traffic jam.
Yeah.
You know, at Hyde Park Corner, it sort of took. There's no cars in front. There's no cars behind, but there's a Bugatti. There's me. There's Carl's on the number plate. So when it says Carl says, people know. And there's the police officer. But it looks like, I mean, me and the police officer are talking, but we're not. You can tell we're having not the most friendly chat in the world.
Yeah.
You know, I'm sort of pointing and he's sort of pointing, and we're both pointing at each other. So. Yeah, it was a good picture, actually.
Yeah, it was great.
It was a good picture. If I could get that, if anyone's got that in high resolution, I would like to frame that.
You need to get it put up here, don't you?
Yeah, I think it was good.
Yeah. So I think this must be the third time I've been here. I always enjoy coming here.
I always love you coming in.
You're always really hospitable. We hang out before, after. You're always so kind with your time. Thank you very much, Carl.
Thank you. Good to see you.
You too.